All right, starting another visual novel. This time, Far Beyond the World. Now, I think this one I've kind of had my eyes set on it for a while. I tried playing it once, but then it was kind of hard to get into because um, I know the format of the chapters changed, and it was kind of difficult for me to find out where to specifically start, even though looking back just a few minutes ago, it straight up tells you how to start the game once you download the latest version. Anyways, I know this. Of course, this is the version where there's chapters 1 through 7, and then I think chapter 8 got renamed all the way to chapter 13, and then chapter 9 is chapter 14 or something like that. Anyways, it makes me wonder how long these are gonna be. This is something that I don't know if I'm gonna dedicate my time. I don't know if I'm gonna dedicate my time to this series, if I'm being honest. Maybe I will. Again, this is just something that I'm picking up. But if I do stumble across another visual novel, then there's a good chance that I might put this one on the back burner because this one is still in development, and it makes me wonder how far in development this is, because it looks like the latest chapter release was almost 2 years ago. But it kind of makes me excited because I've seen how fleshed out this novel is. Just to read the synopsis of it. And before I say anything, if I do sound congested, I honestly have no idea if I'm sick. I've just been running with like a stuffy nose this whole day, and sometimes it's a stuffy nose, sometimes it's a nosebleed, but it's whatever. I feel physically fine though. Anyways, the synopsis of Far Beyond the World. Wake up, says the voice, and you open your eyes in a strange cabin in the woods with only a vague recollection of your life you've left behind. Despite appearances, you know that something isn't quite right. Set on an adventure, trying to piece together the puzzle of your past, as well as forge a new life among the Wolves of Avalan as you try to steer clear of their tribal politics. Your heart will be your compass, but can you trust your feelings when they're so easily clouded? Love can be a boon and a distraction. Choose your friends carefully and your enemies more careful still. You've had one life already. There might not be a third. Anyways, that sounds something mysterious. Just looking at the tags, it's of course romance, fantasy, bara, and of course gay. I'm bisexual. It's by the time I record this, it's not Pride Month yet, but the day after June 1st, it will be Pride Month. So hey, happy Pride Month. This music is a bit loud. How do you put it down? Anyways, let's try this game out. Complete nothingness. I feel as if nothing existed before this moment. No memories of anything other than this utter void. I don't know how long I've been here. Time seems to stretch into eternity. The rhythmic thumping that accompanies me starts to fade away. I somehow know it's the sound of my very own heart being silenced, as if death embraced me. Is this what death feels like? How can I be dead if I haven't even lived? I cannot feel anything, summon any emotion. It's just me and this thorough nothingness. Finally, silence envelops me, but it is not death. Whatever's happening, it does not offer me release from this empty awareness. Suddenly, I hear hundreds of whispers. One voice really, but boundless and out of time. It folds onto itself, forming an incoherent chatter. The language sounds so foreign, yet it speaks to my very core. Bits and pieces flood my mind like a tidal wave. Among the onslaught of chaos, I sift through these strange words, failing to find anything intelligible. Excruciating pain surges through my mind, like a blunt force to the head. The key. I want to scream in agony, as if my entire being is set aflame by those words. Then the black canvas pulls over my eyes. I can see the darkness now, cold and pitch black. Black stone. Another surge fills my mind with painful awareness. I know what stones are, what earth is. This void is not native to me. I come from a world beyond this nothingness. I'm trapped here. You and I suffer another torment. I feel myself materialize in the abyss, my body becoming the edge of existence. I'm no longer floating in nothingness. Instead, I'm immobile, restrained, and left in the dark. I must break free. This isn't right. This isn't right. Wake up. The whispers intensify as if urging me on. Am I dreaming? Is this a nightmare? Wake up! Their anger rises and the command is hard to ignore through the agony caused by each word. I want to wake up, I do. Wake up! The light rushes into my eyes as if I'm stricken by lightning. I know what lightning is. I can picture it crackle across the stormy sky. I'm sure I've seen a storm before, with flashes so bright that for a split second everything turns white. Pretty much like now. I'm forced to squint as my vision doesn't adjust. Everything is so blurry and white, I could have sworn I'm staring into the sun. Sun. I can almost recall its warmth. I'm certain I belong here, in this world. The void that held me moments ago slowly fades into my memory. It was just a dream, and now that I am awake, I will return to my normal life, whatever it may be. Despite trying my hardest, I cannot remember anything concrete about my past. The pain in my eyes lingers, and I want to shield myself from the glare, however my body is numb. I try to raise my hand, to bring it over my head, but it only flops in place. My heart speeds up at a horrid realization. I cannot move. I try to speak, but it only comes out as a mumble as I struggle against my limp body. Am I paralyzed? My fingers twitch as I concentrate on them, tapping at the soft mattress beneath me. No, I'm just frozen. I can feel that I woke up from a long, deep sleep, and my body's just now started thawing. Somehow, I managed to use my lifeless hand as a pendulum to flip myself to the left side. I arch my back, crawling like a snake in the bed, trying to get to the edge. Finally, my eyes adjust and I can see the room. Raising my head is a challenge, but eventually I manage to have a proper look around. I can see the door in front of me. There's only one window. It has a wide, cluttered edge and lets in the light of an early afternoon. There isn't much in way of furniture, just a wooden chest next to the door, a cupboard to the left, and a large wardrobe next to the window. I can't help but notice how dirty everything is, with cobwebs in every corner and dust filling the air. Despite my memory loss, I'm sure of one thing. This isn't my room. This is not my home. Where the hell am I? I struggle a bit further, still very much numb, although I can feel life returning to my limbs. I push myself over the edge, which I fast realize was a mistake, as I fall hard to the wooden floor with a loud thud. I almost pass out at the force with which my head slams the boards, but the cold of the ground instantly seeps through my naked skin, bringing me back to my senses. I try to collect myself from the floor, pushing hard with both hands, but it feels as if I'm lifting a boulder. All I manage to do is sit up in a groggy fashion, noticing my naked upper body. At least my lower part is covered by what I think is a loincloth, which is strange to say the least. There's a sound of heavy footsteps approaching from the adjacent room. I gaze at the doors anxiously, expecting some sort of a familiar face coming to my aid. Maybe I'm away with family, even though I can't remember who my family are. Everything feels so strange and out of place. The door cracks open, and my wishful thinking is snuffed out by a large wolf creature entering the room. Damn. Damn. This fine gentleman. Anyway, he was covered in a thick black fur, standing upright with his hind legs and with torso chiseled like a marble statue. For a split second, my attention drifts to a round black stone resting on his chest, filling me with an odd sense of dread. However, that's quickly replaced by a more rational fear, as I shiver at the sight of the wolf's clawed paws tensing up in anticipation. The beast snarls, gazing at me with his wild red eyes. Oh shit, almost as if looking right through me, and I can't help but stare back at his massive snout filled with jagged fangs. My fucking luck! I told him not to leave me alone. I don't even register that he speaks, feeling weakness overtake me. I must be dreaming. This is a nightmare. Finally, I win the inner battle and manage to regain control of my frozen body. I throw myself up against the cupboard, climbing it like a cliff. Instinctively, I pull out a drawer, hastily rummaging through its contents to find anything I can use to defend myself. Amongst the clothes and trinkets, I grasp something with a hard handle and pull it out, holding tight in front of me with both hands. What are you doing? The wolf regards my weapon with a mild contempt. It's a wooden comb. Despite how foolish I look, I still hold it out in front of me, jabbing at the air to make the beast aware I mean business. Before I can react, he is already on me, one paw grabbing my neck and pushing me hard against the wall. My head bounces off of it like a ball, and I nearly drop my only weapon. That's when his massive paw squeezes my left wrist, the pressure he applies to my bones taking the floor from underneath me. My legs are noodles, and I simply hang from his hold. Let it go. He reiterates through his fangs, snarling straight into my face. I tear up as he squeezes harder, almost to the breaking point. Without a choice, I let the comb go and it flops to the floor. The next thing I know, I'm being swung onto the bed like a rag doll, my weight meaning nothing to the beast. I bounce off of the bedding, scraping my shin bone on the wooden frame. The pain jolts to my head and I gasp, quickly grabbing my leg and pulling it close to myself. Fuck, it hurts. It almost makes me forget about the still throbbing wrist. Now stay here if you know what's good for you. I'll be back in a moment. The wolf huffs at me in an annoyance and hastily leaves the room, closing the doors behind him. What the fuck is going on? Why can't I wake up? I lie there in bed, huddled in pain and crying, desperately trying to end this nightmare, but with no success. The pain lessens, and my panic slowly switches me from fight to flight mode. I need to escape. I can hear the beast rummaging in the next room, clearly looking for something. I look towards the window and realize that I don't want to find out what he's looking for. His current preoccupation is my best chance to get out of here. I try to step off the bed as quietly as I can, tiptoeing, I move closer and closer towards the only route of escape. It frees up as one of the boards creak, almost as if on cue. My eyes trail to the doors, and I weigh my options. Instincts overtake me, and I jolt to the ledge, immediately locating the latch locking the window, but I cannot open it because of all the clutter. Damn. In panic, I begin brushing everything off with a complete abandoned racket echoing across the empty room. I can see the forest in front of me, freedom just within my reach. Help! Help! I yell out as I hear the beast storm in. The doors flying open with a bang. I should not be laughing. It's so funny. What the fuck? Somebody help me! Not even a second later, the entire world turns, as if I were on a merry-go-round. My stomach moves up to my throat, and I fly across the room with the force of the spin. I gasp as my back strikes the bed again. Despite the padding, it's a very rough landing, but before I even register the world of pain my entire body is in, I see the black shadow swoop above me. The entire bed shakes as the beast lands on top of me, his powerful paws flanking me on both sides. He presses his snarling muzzle into my cheek, forcing my face to one side and pressing it deeper into the bedding. I guess we have to do it the hard way. My eyes well up as I feel him dribble onto my neck with each hot puff of air. Please, somebody! He cuts me off with his paw, pressing it hard to my mouth. I continue my muffled shouts as I cry in horror. Wake up. Why can't I wake up? Shut up, or I will rip your fucking throat out! The beast growls, grabbing my neck with his other paw, the weight of his upper body now fully pressing down on me. He's squeezing my windpipe shut without even trying. I want to gouge his eyes to throw him off, but I'm unable to reach his muzzle over the bulging muscles of his arms and shoulders. I clamp my eyes shut as my body begins to convulse, partly due to hysteria, but mainly because I'm desperately trying to draw air. Finally, my hands go limp and I fall lifelessly to the bed, ending my pathetic defense. I'll die here. I don't want to die. My muffled screams begin to fade as the agonizing pain fills my empty lungs. Shut up! He pushes harder, increasing my desperate tremors. My body becomes unresponsive, and I lose any sense of self. I can hear his angered growl hush above me just as everything begins to fade. I slowly return to the darkness, again accompanied only by my beating heart. My mind stirs with a slight discomfort stretching across my entire body. My mouth is dry and there is tension in my joints. I now realize my arms are twisted behind my back, arching it upward in an uncomfortable way. I can feel as if something unpleasant was stuck at the back of my throat. Did I fall asleep like this? I'm not sure what happened. I think I was having a bad dream, something about a werewolf and a cabin in the woods. I seem to be having a lot of night terrors lately, and I'm glad I can finally wake up. But as I open my eyes, it's clear that the nightmare isn't over yet. It's the same dingy little room with a small window, black fur and fangs flashing through my mind. Oh no. The savage attack was not a dream. I try to jump up, but my hands and ankles are tied together with the length of a rope, bounding me like a parcel. I can't roll to either side without dislocating my shoulder. There's no breaking free from this. When I try to speak, I realize I'm gagged with a dirty cloth, which explains the dryness and the weird, briny aftertaste. I look around the room, trying to jog any memory of this place. Was I kidnapped? Is this some sort of messed up prank? I try to rationalize my situation. However, the more I think about it, the more cold sweats dot my body. Why can't I remember anything else than this cabin? Is anyone even looking for me? I can hear someone in the other room, heavy footsteps pacing impatiently back and forth. I gaze at the door with a dread, almost certain it's the same beast that just attacked me. Then I hear someone else enter the cabin. Finally! What took you so long? The cold voice confirms my suspicion. It's that brute. I had to avoid my father all day. He only just left. The hunt should buy us some time at least until the morning. How's the human? Peachy. I frown at the comment. Peachy indeed. What do you mean? He's awake? See for yourself. There's a rush of padding towards the door, and I panic as the massive gray wolf enters the room. Wait, hold on. Is there a history book? So they have humans in this world. Interesting. Shit, let me get a drink. He's dressed in some sort of medieval armor, a green cloak falling from his shoulders. Initially, he has an excited expression, but immediately sours at my predicament. He throws an angry gaze towards the black male who tied me up. What the hell did you do to him? The human should have been tied up to begin with. He tried to escape. When I see that brute, I want to scream, to run away, but all I can do is wiggle and mumble. The gray wolf approaches me, looking down carefully over my body. Are those choke marks? He's all bruised! I saved our pelts, you idiot! My eyes open wide at the creatures arguing at the foot of the bed. Seeing one of those wolves was bad enough, but seeing them both sends a chill down my spine. All I can do is stare, motionless. They are both enormous, much taller than what I consider natural, with broad shoulders making their entire posture more than intimidating. And that's without accounting for all the fangs and claws. I'm terrified. I avoid looking directly at them, but a shadow moves in the corner of my eye. The gray wolf is approaching me slowly, paw extended towards my face. Help! Someone help me! I try to call out, but all I accomplish are muffled whines through the gag. My crushed windpipes feels as if I've swallowed a stone, a painful lump stuck halfway down my throat thanks to that monster. The gray wolf tries to shush me, but I continue to yell despite how much it hurts. Help! I want to wake up! Please, be quiet. His soft pleading almost causes me to stop, but I can hear a deep growl behind him. Just fucking kill it before anyone hears this! And just like that, the most instinctual cry comes to me, the one I always fall upon in a seemingly unending nightmare. Mom! Mommy! This is a bad dream. It has to be. Stop snarling! You're making it worse. The gray wolf snaps at his companion and gets onto the bed, his chest hovering right above me. Being exposed like this makes me shout even more. However, his massive paw gently presses down on my face. Although he's trying to silence me, the wolf is going about it differently than the previous one. His other paw reaches behind my head, holding me securely and gently ruffling my hair. Shh. His greenish eyes plead with mine, and I find his expression and demeanor almost soothing. Please, calm down. I notice he begins to match his breath with mine, his massive chest expanding in the same rhythm. He is guiding me down from the edge of panic, and for whatever reason, I follow. All I want is to feel safe, and somehow he manages to make me feel just that. I slowly let down my fight, my muffled voice getting fainter and fainter. That's right. He encourages me. Nothing's going to happen to you. I promise. I'm going to let go, but you have to stop screaming. I look at him, wide-eyed. He speaks slowly at me, enunciating every word in an odd fashion. If anyone finds out you're here. He gestures with a clawed finger towards his neck, making an unmistakable slit mark. I guess he means I would be killed. Do you understand? I don't, but I am in no position to inquire further, so I simply close my eyes and take a deep breath. Good. It's okay. His voice is oddly comforting, as if I've heard it before. Let me fix this. My mind tells me to run, however my body's powerless. I must trust him. There's no other choice. Besides, if he wanted to hurt me, he would have done so already. He removes the paw from my face, his furry fingers brushing the cloth fastened around it. I can see his claws carefully prick at the rim. I will take this off, but you must promise me that you won't scream. My eyes tears up as I watch his massive jaw open in rhythm of his words. I think it only now sinks in that those beasts indeed talk. You can't be serious! The brute protests, looking at me with a murderous gaze, but the grey wolf ignores him. He looks expectantly at me, bringing a finger to his lips to emphasize that I need to stay quiet. Okay. I nod, closing my eyes. As he removes the cloth, pulling the bundle out of my mouth, I gasp in relief, tears flowing down my cheeks freely. When I try to catch my breath, the grey wolf inspects the material with which I was gagged, looking back at his companion with a disgusted expression. Is that... Did he? Is this my... Had to improvise. Had to improvise with what exactly? His jockstrap? Loincloth? I can't even contemplate the implication as my mind begins to spin out of control. Oh, his sprite reminds me so much of Amicus. What the fuck is going on? I ask myself in a pitiful squeak. The grey wolf looks to his companion. What language is that? Vanar or Freyr? I can't say. Oh, these novels. These fantasy novels, they gotta have like some sort of phonetic dictionary, because I don't know how to say that. How should I know? I don't speak human. What are they talking about? I understand them perfectly. Great. How are we going to explain this to him after you brutalized the kid? I was being gentle. Explain what? I asked them without even thinking what I'm doing. Oh, I'm sorry. This predicament is just so funny to me. I noticed both males looking at me wide-eyed, as if they've seen a ghost. For the first time, the black wolf shows an expression other than scorn. What is going on? The wolves briefly exchange gazes, looking back at me with the same surprise in their eyes. What? It speaks. It might be just a few words. The grey wolf shakes his head, looking to me for confirmation. Right? I don't respond. My thoughts are spinning in complete confusion, and the grey wolf simply points to my legs. Let's get you untied, huh? I wouldn't do that. I ignore the brute and hastily nod to the grey wolf, desperately wanting to get out of this awkward position. I need him to trust us. How can he do that when he's tied up like a prisoner? He works his fingers around the knot, cursing under his breath. Fuck. Did you have to make it this tight? The other wolf only shrugs. I can't see much, but I feel the stinging of bruised skin as the rope finally loosens up. There we go. My legs stretch out almost on their own accord, the tension in my knees finally letting up. I sigh in relief. I didn't think it was possible to feel so good just stretching out like this. Right. I need to turn you on your back. He circles the air with his finger, letting me know what he intends to do. I just nod. Please don't do anything. Stupid. What could I possibly do with two monsters hulking over me? I mean, the Grey Wolf. I could take him. Anyways, I allow myself to be rolled over, and I feel as the Grey Wolf walks onto the bed and mounts my back. His voice is tinged with embarrassment as I grunt under his weight. Sorry, just a precaution. He squats on my butt, his muscular legs to either side of my torso squeezing slightly to hold me fast. I guess he doesn't trust me to stay still. It takes him a while to undo the knot, but when he's finally done, I feel the blood rush to my hands. I try to push myself up to force some life into my numb limbs, but I feel a giant paw pressing against my naked back with leathery pads. Don't make me regret this. He whispers the words into my ear, and his cautious tone completely throws me off. I'm not the dangerous one here. Not wanting to startle him, I stay still until he gets off me, turning back to face them only when I feel his weight disappear. His paw slides off my back, but he keeps hovering above me, his form dwarfing mine. I'm calm enough to finally have a proper look at him. His fur is gray, but with a slight brown tint to it. I rub my stinging wrists, tracing the red marks where the ropes held me. I do that more out of contemplation rather than actual pain. Everything is so confusing and absurd, yet feels so real. You okay? Am I? I adjust myself in bed, trying to rise slightly so that the wolfman doesn't hover above me in such an awkward fashion. His eyes are kind and show a caring person behind the mask of a wild beast, a stark contrast to his musculature and burly build, not to mention his black companion. I'm sitting in this strange room, surrounded by talking wolves. If this is not a dream, then I must be insane. Seriously, you did a number on the poor kid. The gray wolf eyes out my neck, causing me to immediately touch it. I wince in pain, drawing air through my teeth. My throat still hurts, and clearly doesn't want to be touched. Gaining his trust will take a fucking miracle now. He throws an angry stare at the black male who simply raises a brow. His trust? What about us? He could be dangerous. Don't be ridiculous. He's tiny and obviously frightened. How dangerous could he possibly be? I'm not sure if I'm frightened anymore. My emotions are running riot, and I have no idea what I actually feel now. I just sit there, unsure what to do. Unsure what to do. Did I say unsure? Unsure. The gray wolf's demeanor is quite disarming. His kind eyes and soothing voice allow me to calm the torrent in my head ever so slightly. Between him and the black brute, he generally doesn't seem to wish me harm. I resume rubbing my wrists, and the gray wolf notices that, his big paws reaching out to them. He is about to touch me, and I clasp his paw with both hands and bringing it close to my face so that I can have a better look. It is soft to the touch, the fur kempt and having a vague scent of the forest. I turn the paw to reveal his underside, with 6 distinct leathery pads. They are dark brown and surprisingly supple, more akin to skin than what I originally thought. I trace my finger from his palm to the dull tip of his middle claw. This is so surreal. Before I let go of his paw, I ruffle the fur around his wrists, trying to find where there might be some sort of partition in the costume. I find nothing, gazing at the muzzle of the wolf, dumbfounded. Why would I even think it's a costume? I can't help myself but reach out and touch its chest. Despite the fur, I can clearly see defined muscles. I mean, hey, I do the same in this situation. I mean, enough thirsting over this gray wolf, come on. I carefully brush away a round necklace. Its stone is white, but otherwise it looks familiar to the one the black wolf wears. I sink my fingers into the fur and immediately met with contrasting sensations, the softness of the coat and the rock-hard pecs beneath it. His fucking face. His chest expands heavily with each breath, while I move my hand from one breast to one breast to another. Oh my god. He's so warm. Oh, I'm giggling at this so hard. I can't believe my senses. This can't possibly be real. Or, unless that's his name. He clears his throat, looking as confused as I am. My eyes and hands drift to his snout, but I stop short from touching him. He looks at me with slight surprise, but as he notices my hesitation, he pushes his muzzle into my open palm. His nose is wet and warm, like I'd expect a wolf's nose to be. What are you doing? Don't let... I want him to feel at ease. The grey wolf extended his paw toward his companion in a calming manner, letting him know to leave me be. I'm completely lost in my own thoughts as my hand wanders the length of his muzzle, all the way to his cheeks. I groom his side fluff, realizing how soft and pleasant the grey fur is. I caress his face. He rests his head onto my hands, looking almost cute and innocent. Hear a soft thumping of his tail against the bed. He's enjoying my attention, but I'm not really petting him. I'm simply trying to convince myself that he is not an illusion. Finally, I ventured lower to his mouth, fueled by his exploring frenzy. I almost touch his lips when I hear a soft growl from the black wolf. Careful now. He used to chew on his toys. I blink, pulling my hand back. What am I doing? I was about to foolishly stick my fingers into a wolf's maw. I grimace in discomfort, but the gray male simply smiles at me. Any thought of harm quickly disappears from my mind, but another troubling realization takes its place. He's real. You're a wolf. I try to keep a straight face as I say those ridiculous words. Yes, and you're a human. He touches my shoulder with his paw, his words still annoyingly slow and steady. I finally realize what it is that bothers me about it. He talks to me as if I were either stupid or a child. And since I'm not a child, feeling patronized, I finally snap out of the stupor and brush his paw away. Where the hell am I? Who are you people? The two wolves exchange confused looks, this time both their expressions turning. That's more than just a few words. The brute is clearly upset that I can speak, and this only fuels my frustration. Can you understand us? Yes, of course I can. What is this place? This is my home. Why am I here? Did you kidnap me? What? No, I found you. How did it learn our language? There's not a hint of accent. It's as if we were born and raised here. The black wolf's inquisition into my linguistic skills finally pissed me off. What are you talking about? I'm not speaking your language. You are speaking mine. You were raised speaking Wolven. Yeah, right. Someone shaved his ugliest pup and abandoned it in the woods. Speak Wolven? As in what? Growling and howling? I'm so confused. I cannot hear this Wolven language they insist I'm using. I don't know what you two are talking about, but this is my language. Always has been. You're either a spy or a fucking lunatic. I'm neither, you dumb beast. I spit out in anger, causing the black wolf to snarl viciously, his fur bristling. I quickly regret doing that, as I can see the black monsters tense up, ready to give me another thrashing. Shut up, both of you. The gray wolf looks back to me with a slight annoyance. I thought you said you can understand us. So which part of being killed, if discovered, didn't you get? He gives me a stern look and I cool down a bit. Talking back to either of them is not the best idea. We need to keep quiet. Why? What's going on? You shouldn't be here. I'll explain everything, but for the time being, please trust me. That feels like a stretch, however, I don't seem to have any other options. Okay, fine. I can see through a sigh, but I don't understand anything that's going on here. How are you speaking our language? This language is what I know, what I've always known. We heard you speak something else, though. We don't know what you said, but it wasn't Wolven. What? No, that's not right. I don't remember speaking or thinking in any other language. I really need you to help me out here. The gray wolf looks at me worried, hastily sitting down on the bed and reaching for my hand. I flinch, startled by the beast's movements in proximity, managing to retreat my hand before the paw lands on it. I cradle it near my chest, making the wolf aware I'm not okay with him touching me. I may be a little hypocritical, considering I took full liberty in touching him, but that thought quickly disappears with another bizarre question. Do you speak Tigerian, perhaps? Tigerian? I scoff, almost mocking the gray wolf. As in tigers? You're saying there's talking tigers out there? The wolf's eyes wander off in annoyance, as if he wants me to just make my jaded point already. What else? Elephants? Ooh, I bet their language is what? Fancy. I finally listen, and I'm unable to contain a chuckle. The human is fluent in our language and even cracks jokes. This whole mess just went from bad to worse. What are we going to do now? I don't know. My thoughts begin to wander off to the world outside of this room. Where the hell am I? That's exactly my point. You never think these through. Your father will. He doesn't have to know. Have you also gone mad? Is that thing contagious? At least for now, let's keep my father out of it. I need to find a way to present this in the least controversial way. What the fuck happened with humans for being so controversial? What? How do you want to do that? Roll the human in honey and cover him with fur? What are they even talking about? Obviously not. No. That's a relief because it's not crazier than smuggling the human here in the first place. I don't know why I allowed you to rope me into this. I just look between the two wolves arguing, still none the wiser. Can someone please explain to me what's going on? I find myself barking out in annoyance. The gray wolf looks at me surprised and then sighs. I guess this is where we introduce ourselves. He straightens up, pumping up his chest. It's clear he's trying to be presentable, as if it'll make any difference to me. Don't. My name is Rannoch. He speaks slowly, deepening his voice like some guys do when they try to impress. And this is Vulgor. He notices my reluctant gaze towards the other wolf and laughs awkwardly, the self-important image dissipating almost instantly. Don't mind him. Despite his demeanor, he's a good friend. A friend? He almost killed me! I shout out, glaring at the black male with hatred in my eyes. I can still see him hovering above me, choking me until I pass out. Rannoch frantically shushes me, pushing his fingers against his lips. If I wanted you dead, do you think you'd still be here bitching about it, little piggy? Damn, I kind of want to reread that. Anyways, a soft growl follows the wolf's words, but it cuts off as Rannoch gives him a stern look. What he did was a bit harsh, but in truth, he saved your life. What are you talking about? He nearly choked the life out of me. If anyone would find you here, you would be killed. His voice tries to convey the gravity of the situation, but I'm at a loss. You keep saying that, but don't explain why. We don't allow other kin into our forest. Trespassing is forbidden and punishable by death. What the hell are other... I mean... If they're not allowed, is it really trespassing if they let us in? Come on. Come on. You, for one, little piggy. It is a term for any intelligent species other than your own. You're an otherkin to us, just as we're otherkin to you. I shake my head slightly, trying to comprehend what he's saying. Hold on. You mean that there are more talking beasts out there? Either it's kidding, or there's something wrong with it. You don't remember? The Grey Wolf looks at me pleadingly, as if asking to end whatever game I'm playing. I think I would remember living in a world inhabited by talking animals. Rannoch brow narrows. Shit. Showing he has taken offense at my comment. We're as much talking animals as you are a talking chimp. I'd say it looks more like a talking piece of would-be ham. Now I'm the one offended. Stop calling me it. I have a name. Well, you didn't give it to us. No, don't ask its name. Rannoch huffs with a cheeky smile, allowing one fang to perk out. He's making a good point, and I decide to ignore the Black Wolf's protests. Is there a default name? What? I don't remember. Sure, I don't remember. Well, we have to call you something. No, we don't. The Black Wolf growls in annoyance, but Rannoch completely ignores him. How about a nickname? Sure, I guess. The wolf looks at me intensely for a moment. How about Pink? Is that a default name for the attack? No, they're fucking lying to me. I furrowed my brow, not even entertaining the idea. I'm not Pink. Rannoch looks at me with a rather challenging smile. Kaylin, then. He winks, and I roll my eyes. Of course he's going to call me Tiny. Interesting. So he really does know Wolven language, because I don't even know what the fuck Kaylin means. If that's a real word. Is that a real word? No. Wait, how do I need it? I'm looking way too into this. Okay. No, don't name it. Seeing Vulgar's annoyance makes me snicker, and it seals the deal. And just like that, it rolls off my tongue. Kaylin. It's strange to hear it out loud, but it also feels right. Oh, for fuck's sake! Kaylin, good. We're getting somewhere. The Grey Wolf smiles, ruffling my hair. I consider swatting its paw away, but his kind expression convinces me to simply ignore his forwardness. What we're getting in is some very deep shit. I flinch seeing the Black Wolf look at me with his cold eyes. We need to kill it. I freeze, seeing that the wolf is not joking. What? Rannoch jumps to his feet, shielding me with his body, his reaction pushing me further into paralysis. We need to get rid of this freak before anyone finds out. Sheltering an otherkin is one thing, but having it speak our language is deadly serious. We need to kill it. We are not doing that. Rannoch raises his voice, causing me to wince. Their bodies tense up, and I can see their every muscle straining. Rannoch, be reasonable. There's no way you can spin this. We can be banished. I don't care. My heart skips a beat as I can hear Rannoch issue a powerful snarl. What is this pose, and why are his pecs and nipples looking so succulent? I cannot see his expression, but I'm sure it mirrors that of the black male who bears his fangs in a vicious, almost feral way. Both wolves hold their paws close to their chest, with fingers feathered out in anticipation. I cannot stand by while you're making the biggest mistake of your life. This is not a mistake. This is my destiny. Verissa! Damn. Hold on, let's see the CG. What is this mess? Ooh. Without a warning, Vulgar rushes my defender, and they clash a few steps away from the bed, heads butting and paws interlocking. Verissa huffs incense and eats hallucinogenic mushrooms. She's not speaking with our ancestors. You know that. I cannot avert my gaze from the spectacle, partially because I'm frozen, but also because my life depends on the result. I half expect them to thrash about biting each other, but instead they stay locked like this. When I know that Mother Moon guided me to this human, just like Verissa said she would. She said you would find your purpose. The ceremony is just a tradition. You were meant to reflect on life by observing falling leaves or a sunset, not to break our secret laws for a fucking human. I hear their strained puffs as they wrestle with each other in place. Despite how vicious they sound, growling and snarling, I can see they're not really fighting, but rather trying to overpower one another. The human spoke my name. Rannoch struggles the words through a grunt as Vulgor twists his paws back, forcing the werewolf to take one knee. He's losing. Has it occurred to you that since the human speaks our language, he might have simply read it? What is he even talking about? Where would I have read Rannoch's name? I've never heard it before in my life. Vol, you're my moon brother. I don't want to fight you. That is exactly why I have to fight you. You're about to fuck up our entire lives. Vulgar's gaze drifts towards me, his red eyes piercing right through my flesh. He knows he will soon have his way. Their labored snarls and growls begin to send me over the edge, and I know another panic attack is fast approaching. I close my eyes, holding myself and slowly rocking back and forth like a traumatized child. I don't think anymore. I just want it all to stop. Stop it, please! Everything goes silent as I cry out through tears. Just stop! Caitlin! The mattress jumps up as the wolf's weight lands on it. I open my eyes and see the grey wolf splayed out in front of me. Vulgar must have used my cry as a distraction to throw Rannoch back. I glare at the brute approaching us, and without even thinking, I shield Rannoch with my own body. Please, don't fight over me. I don't understand what I've done wrong. You've done nothing wrong. I feel Rannoch embrace me as he pulls me to the side, covering me with his flank and reversing our positions. Now he's the one protecting me. Rannoch eyes the black male with wild determination, and his muzzle twists in a warning snarl. Vulgar stops, folding his arms and looking down at us with mild contempt as I stay in the grey wolf's embrace, clinging to his fur. I just want to be close to someone. Rannoch readjusts us slightly, sitting up at the edge of the bed with me still pressed into his chest, my side resting in his lap. For fuck's sake! I won't let you harm the human. He hugs me tightly, issuing another protective growl. There's a moment of silence where I simply fall deeper and deeper into despair. Why is any of this happening to me? Nothing is ever easy with you, is it? Vulgar makes a long, drawn-out sigh, as if releasing all the tension he's built up to this moment. I'm not like you. I don't solve my problems through violence and killing. Pity, you should try it sometime. Rannoch allows me another moment of warmth, but then gently pushes me away from his chest. I just sit there, not really present, watching as he clumsily gets back up to his feet. The wolves are now standing side by side, almost as if nothing really happened. It's okay. We're done fighting. He's trying to get me to compose myself, but I'm already far gone. I'm sorry you had to see all that. I'm sorry you had to see that. It's not exactly how I envisioned our introduction. I don't understand what's going on. Why am I here? And who are these monsters? Why can't I remember anything? Is this really the world I was born into? If so, why does it feel so alien? As if my instincts are telling me this is not home. This is not home. Shh, it's okay. The grey wolf lowers himself to get closer, and I close my eyes, huddling tightly to the wall. My head throbs with a torrent of questions that slowly overwhelms me. I hug my knees, pressing them into my chest. The adrenaline rush pumped by my palpitating heart is the only reason why I don't break up in tears. Everything is just a blur, and although I can still hear them, nothing really registers. Not consciously, at least. Its heart is fluttering like a startled bird in a cage. Messes with my instincts. I open my eyes, looking up at them as they stare me down intensely. It only empowers the erratic pounding in my chest. I can't breathe. Yep, there it is. Undeniable go for the throat feel. The words stick out like a sore thumb, freezing me in fear. Shut up! The kind wolf snores at his friend and hunches next to me, leaning in closer. He's obviously trying to comfort me, but I can't help but notice his fangs poking out. You feel it too. Don't deny it. I can see you're all tensed up. That statement makes me notice how Rannoch's fur is standing up ever so slightly, barely containing some subconscious exhilaration. I flinch away from his gray paw, but the wolf persists. I run out of room to recede to as he gently takes hold of my chin and guides my gaze back towards his. I meet his docile smile with caution, the world still distorted by adrenaline haze. Calm down. No one's going to hurt you. I don't feel that's entirely true, recalling what the black wolf said just a moment ago. Go for the throat. I cut off, shielding my neck with a hand. Don't listen to him. Your racing heart is just messing with our heads a little. He admits with a slight embarrassment as his paw touches my shoulder. Just an uneasy feeling. Nothing we would lose control over. I'm more worried you're going to have a heart attack. The werewolf squeezes my shoulder slightly, as if trying to pull me back from my fit of terror. He then takes a long inhale, his nose close enough to draw strands of my hair in his direction. Breathe in. He holds his breath for a moment, and without realizing, I do as he instructions. And breathe out. I chuckle as a large huff of air brushes over me. That's it. My heart regains a bit of its rhythm. I am unsure how I feel about those beastmen's ability to sense my heartbeat, but for a moment it seems to allow Rannoch to guide me back from the panic attack. His gestures and words somehow match my pulse, as he squeezes me gently with every thump inside my chest, almost as if giving cues to my startled heart. Finally, I am back to normal, or at least a semblance of it. The wolf keeps upon my shoulder for a while longer, still squeezing in rhythm. Welcome back. He smiles again, certain I've calmed down. Only now does he let me go to face his comrade. I know it's a lot to ask of you, but could you stop freaking him out? Vulgar grimaces, his arms still crossed as he drills his cold gaze into me. I can't help but flinch at the sight of him eyeing me out. To me, he's fear incarnate. I think it's too late for that. Look, I'll fix this. Rannoch draws my gaze towards him as he points to the white, round necklace on his chest. See this? Those are our moonstones. Every wolf is given them at birth to represent the phase of Alna when we came to the world. Full moon. Yes, he smiles. I was born during the full moon. An auspicious sign for sure. So was he, actually, just an hour earlier, which makes us moon brothers. So there's the same age. Okay. I look to the similar necklace on Vulgor's chest. His stone, however, is black. For some unknown reason, it keeps unsettling me ever since I first saw it. Black stone. I say with a worried expression, almost as if repeating someone. He was born during an eclipse. Something we call dark moon. These necklaces are the most valuable possession we have. Let me just see. Born during the full. They don't have to be the same age. It just they're just saying that they were born on a full moon. And since it's an eclipse, shit. How often do eclipses occur? Basic science. How long is it? Every 8 years or something like that? No. Oh, I don't remember. I think Volgor is older. What are you doing? Explaining to him the significance so that he can understand what I'm about to ask. No. Whatever is being discussed is causing the black male a great deal of discomfort. Vol, I want you to swear. You're fucking insane! I won't do it! The black wolf snarls, causing me to shudder. Swear on your moonstone that you won't harm Kaylin. You want me to do that for a human? Swear on a moonstone. I want you to do it for me, as your moon brother. I dart my eyes between Rannoch's pleading expression and Volgor gritting his teeth. This request causes him a great deal of pain. I can see clearly that the wolf is not taking this lightly. Without warning, Volgor punches a wall next to the bed, causing me to yelp. The entire house shakes as the plaster cracks, bits and pieces of it falling to the ground. This is fucking bullshit! I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that punch. The strength of this beast made perfectly clear. He wasn't bluffing when he claimed he was being gentle with me. He could snap me like a twig. Vol, please. The black wolf's rattled breath fills the room for a few moments as the growl deep inside his chest begins to subside. Finally, he releases a long, drawn-out sigh and looks at Rannoch, fully composed. His red eyes drift to me, and I can see his massive paw touch the rims of his black necklace. On my moonstone, I swear I won't harm your little piglet. Thank you. The gray wolf turns to face me with a smile. See? He will never harm you again. You can be certain of it. He might be cynical and a bit rough around the edges, but he's the most honorable wolf I know. I do actually believe him. I could see that getting the promise out of the black wolf was not easy. Regardless, I still feel anxious around him, but at least I know there is no immediate danger. Your father will not swallow this lightly. We're looking at an exile. If my father hasn't banished me so far, I doubt this will make any difference. Damn, what the fuck has Rannoch done to... hasn't banished you so far? What the fuck has he done? And if it does, I've had it long coming. It sounds like Rannoch gets in trouble a lot, yeah. I'm not sure if his self-awareness should be commended or not, considering he keeps causing more trouble. Then again, in this instance, I'm glad, as so far it seems he saved my life. Somehow. Are you really willing to risk everything over this puny human? The spirits wanted me to find him. I can see Volgor roll his eyes. Now that we know he speaks our language, I am more certain of it than before. He looks at me with a hopeful smile, his voice filled with conviction. What would our ancestors even want with a human whelp? Good question. I don't know, but all will be revealed in time. I still don't understand how I fall into all of this. You said that you found me. Where? How? Rannoch regards me with worry, uncertain if he should reveal it or not. That's when Volgor spares him the dilemma. He found you in our forest, some distance from our village. I nod to the black wolf in appreciation. You mentioned some sort of ceremony that you sent there. Of a ceremony that sent you there. I looked to Rannoch expectantly. It was my coming of age. I was to receive guidance from the ancestors to find my path. And the fool mistook you for it. The black wolf sneers while Rannoch looks away, slightly embarrassed. What does that mean? The grey wolf seems troubled, and makes me think that his previous confidence was completely unfounded. However, he quickly looks back at me with a smile on his muzzle. Don't worry about that now. That's a non-answer. Just know that our fates are intertwined. The spirits have charged me with protecting you. You speaking our language only proves that us crossing paths during my ceremony was not a coincidence. For you, hardly anything is. Cynical as Vulgar may be, I can see his point. Rannoch is clearly into the idea of this whole mess being fated, but whatever his beliefs are, signs can always be misinterpreted. I'm not a path, whatever that means. I don't even know who I am. What could I possibly have to do with that wolf's fate? Am I really speaking your... I pause for a moment, still not understanding the implication. Your language? Am I barking and growling without even realizing? Have I gone completely mad? You really don't hear it. The black wolf's expression shows that he finally starts to believe me. No, it's as natural to me as if I were born into it. Surely you know your own language. The grey wolf smiles awkwardly, almost as if begging me to really think about it. But this is my own language. You must speak human, whatever dialect you call it back home. This is human. I cut off, trying to really contextualize the words I'm using. Isn't it? Rannoch shakes his head. You're confused, which is to be expected after what you've been through. None of this makes any sense. Despite my mind being wiped clean, I know that talking beasts aren't normal. I know this isn't my home. A terrible feeling of being lost fills me, and my heart sinks. I want to go home. Rannoch's ears perk up. Fine, that's exactly where I intend to take you. Just tell me where it is, and once you've rested, we'll be on our way. He smiles, and his tone tells me he genuinely means to do just that. But where is my home? I don't know. I don't remember. The answer clearly unsettles Rannoch, as he frowns with worry. Nothing comes to me when I try to think about anything before waking up here. My mind is just one empty void, and the more I try to explore it, the more uneasy I feel, as if something unpleasant lurked in the shadows. Finally, Vulgar breaks the silence, looking at me intently. What were you doing in our woods? I don't know. I don't even remember being in the woods to begin with. There's something you're not telling us. I've told you everything. And why can't he see that I'm the one in distress? Regardless of what trouble they claim they've gotten themselves into. Excuse me. I am the one lost and completely baffled by my own existence. But I can see the black wolf isn't satisfied, his red eyes looking at me with distrust. I finally snap. I don't know what happened to me. All I remember is waking up in this fucking room and then you attacking me. You were squealing like a dying pig. I had to shut you up, otherwise we'd be discovered. You should have explained that to me. I didn't know you spoke our language, and even if I did, do you really think you would listen? I know when I see prey fighting for its life. You were far gone the moment you laid your eyes on me. His tone is very much like mine, fed up and betraying a hint of hurt. Before we can escalate our argument, Rannoch steps between us. Enough! This is getting us nowhere. We don't know who this human is or where he comes from. I don't know that either. I mean, talking wolves? What is all this? I throw my arms out in resignation. This is complete and utter nonsense. Why can't they see I have nothing to gain from this? I lock my eyes with Volgor, who's the only one treating me like some sort of a wild card. I arch my brows upward, eyes getting glossy despite my efforts to not get emotional. You've hurt me. You've wanted to kill me. How can you think I asked for any of this? The black wolf's expression softens, almost as if for the first time he considered putting himself in my shoes. Eventually, he turns his gaze away with a deep sigh. The human obviously suffered some sort of trauma. Yes, and you choking him certainly would be called that. Rannoch scoffs in annoyance. No, I shake my head. I mean, yes, that is going to stay with me for a while, but I didn't remember anything before he attacked me. As traumatic as the encounter was, my problem started much, much earlier. I shudder, sensing some sort of darkness deep in the rest of the recesses of my memory, almost preventing me from digging any deeper. It's almost as if that darkness consumed all that made up who I was. There are no memories of anything before this day. I can't remember my parents or friends. I feel warmth trickling down my cheeks as I realize I might as well be an orphan. I can't even remember a single other human. I know I am one, but I can't even picture it. What do I even look like? I regard my hands and feet, then glance around the room. Do you have a mirror? Only after asking do I realize I know what a mirror is. My memory loss seems to be very selective and restricted to anything directly linked to my past. Volgor looks at me with one brow risen, while Rannoch smiles apologetically. Sorry, I don't have such luxuries. Luxuries? Despite lacking any context, I know that mirrors aren't that. That's when I hear a metallic cling. A sword. I can use a sword as a mirror. Both me and Rannoch gaze towards Volgor, who has unsheathed a long dagger. He approaches us casually, while I see Rannoch's hackles raising. Suddenly, everything goes black for a moment, and time freezes. Oh, I wonder what's happening now. A faint whisper fills my mind. I don't know where it's coming from, and I don't recognize it either. His blade will taste your flesh? Oh, I thought he was going to use the blade as a mirror, if I'm being honest. If I'm being honest. His blade will taste your flesh. Although it penetrates my very soul with cold fear, my heart almost yells at me not to listen. Is it a warning, or my frightened mind playing tricks on me? Volgor wouldn't hurt me after he made that promise, would he? Trust Volgor. I mean, yeah, trust him. First off, he swore on the Moonstone. Second of all, that dagger sounded very sharp, so it's probably really shiny as well. The gray male issues a warning growl towards his friend, but I find myself placing a hand on the back of his neck. The wolf twitches at the sensation, looking at me inquisitively. Although it feels counterintuitive, I rub his fur, letting him know that everything is fine. It's okay. I trust the black wolf. Despite my initial knee-jerk reaction, I realize what he wants to do. See? I knew it. I knew it. And just like that, Volgor kneels next to the bed, presenting me with a dagger resting across both his paws. This clearly takes great pride in it, as it is polished to perfection, the glistening surface reflecting my image without a blemish. Damn, how old are we? We look young. Fuck. In our 20s? I reach to his paws, not to pick up the blade. I trust the wolf to keep it steady, but to adjust the angle so that I can see myself clear. I touch my lips, tracing them slowly as my eyes follow the mirrored gesture on the metallic surface. I feel up my cheekbones, then touch the tip of my nose, eyes fixed on the reflection. I ruffle my hair, pulling at the strands of my fringe, pretty much exploring myself in the same fashion I was exploring Renock earlier. Without even noticing it, I've begun weeping again. 2 streaks of tears cut through my image, clearly visible in the blade. A strange sensation twists my stomach, as if I am seeing myself for the first time. My reflection is both strange and so familiar. I am human. This is what humans are. This is serious, Raynock. The Black Wolf says with a grim tone. Not that he had any semblance of levity before, but at least now he's not being insulting. For the first time, I can see him looking at me with an actual concern. Volgor stands up, sheathing his blade back behind his belt and looking to his friend. If you insist on this foolishness, we should bring Varessa in. Raynock remains silent for a moment, as if weighing his options. I pull myself together, rubbing away stray tears. Who's Varessa? The tribe's shaman. She's both a spiritual guide and a healer. I'm glad the Grey Wolf clarifies that, because despite being vaguely familiar with the word, I'm not sure what it fully entails. Well, you said she's the one who sent you into the woods. Besides, she could help with my memory loss. I don't exactly feel myself since I've woken up. Or feel myself since I've woken up. I realize that if there is someone here who could give me medical attention, I'd rather have them check me out. Despite Raynock's best intentions, he's clearly conflicted about something, and as calming and reassuring as he tries to be, he's no medic. Volgor looks at me with a smile and understanding. At least the piglet can see some reason. What I want to see is an end to this emotional roller coaster. Roller coaster. Those words that come to my mind. They make no sense, but at the same time, I understand them. I shake my head in frustration. What is going on? What if she doesn't see it the way I do? If you claim this is what she was meant to be, or if you claim this was what was meant to be, Versa is as much a part of it as you are. Besides, without her help, we're already fucked. That's when my eyes drift to the Black Wolf, brows risen in confusion. You keep saying we, but if it's Raynock who found me, how would you get involved? I'm not suspicious or accusatory, simply curious. I went looking for the fool when he was gone too long. Don't spiritual journeys take long? The Black Wolf covers his eyes in annoyance. This is just a tradition. You're told to go into the woods, find a rabbit, eat a moss, and realize we're all connected or some crap. Volgor nearly snarls in annoyance. I can sense he's not the one to believe in superstitions, and I find myself agreeing. When it took him an entire night to return, I decided to look for him, and there he was, fiddling with a naked mole rat. If you hate me so much, why don't you just turn us in? Volgor's eyes widen as he looks at me with surprise, but only for a moment before he composes himself again. That's his moon brother. Why would he turn him in? Yeah. I don't hate you, piglet. You just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Besides, Raynock is my moon brother. I would never betray him. Then you're a good friend. Volgor nods, as if me saying it has made it any more valid. Every time he gets into trouble, I have to be there and save his furry ass. I look up towards Raynock with slightly amused smile, noticing the wolf's embarrassment. Does he often find strange creatures in the woods? I don't know why I'm trying to break the tension, but both of the wolves look at me with surprise. We laugh it off. No, this is the first. His ultimate fuck-up. The blackmail jabs, but this time in a playful manner. No. I smile, but I find myself disagreeing with the big wolf. He saved a life. That's not a mistake. Whatever happened to me, if I weren't found, I would surely have died. If not from exposure, then some animal would have done it. I chuckle at the absurdity. A thought of a wild wolf comes immediately to my mind, the beast simply eating me alive while I'm unconscious. Yet here I am because a wolfman rescued me. Had he not found me, I would most likely be dead by now. Most likely. The black wolf tries to shrug indifferently, but there's almost a hint of discomfort in his voice. I look up at Rannoch, touching his paws. Thank you. I place all the gratitude into those words I can muster. The wolf smiles, closing his eyes and nodding. Both of you. I smile at Volgor, to which he only shrugs. He only looks away, but I can see his tail give an idle flick. Bring Verissa. The black wolf nods in satisfaction and leaves the room. Be careful, though. That sneaky piglet is quite proficient with combs. I almost choke on a chuckle, completely thrown off by the remark. Combs? Rannoch looks at me expectantly, clearly feeling left out from our inside joke. Never mind. I wave him away. As good as that joke was in the moment, I don't want to relive my first encounter with Volgor just yet. With the black wolf gone, an awkward silence falls over the room, but I don't mind. Somehow, this grey wolf makes me feel safe and at ease. I sit quietly on the bed, looking at the bright afternoon outside the window, anxiously kneading the sheets. Rannoch keeps standing in his spot, not moving or saying anything. I can feel his gaze drill into me as he carefully inspects every inch of my body with a rather odd smile. What? 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 You keep staring at me. Being called out, Rannoch turns his gaze to the side in embarrassment. Well, I've never seen a human before. Didn't you get a pretty good look when you found me? He still avoids facing me, the insides of his ears glowing red. No, you were unconscious. I only did what I had to save you. I chuckle at this troubled reaction. I guess he took it the wrong way. If you've never seen a human before, how did you know I was one? Well, we have stories of humans, among many others. We know you have pink skin, almost no fur aside from the head, that sort of stuff. I roll my eyes. Beige. Huh? My skin is beige. I'd have to stay out in the sun for quite a while to become pink. And humans can have much darker complexion as well. Shit. Is that so? I guess we just haven't dealt with those in the past. What? You hadn't dealt with dark-skinned humans in the past? There's stories of only light-skinned humans? The bright sun and distinctive smell of flowers make me think of spring, although that doesn't seem quite right to me. It's almost as if the seasons got mixed up somehow. However, cool air brushing over my naked body convinces me beyond doubt that it is indeed spring. I shiver slightly, reminded that I'm not wearing any clothes. Why am I look down at my strange loincloth. Almost naked. Where are my clothes? I found you how the Mother Moon made you. And this? Shit, sorry about that. Fuck. And this? I point to the material covering my groin. I've put that on for obvious reasons. His sprites just really remind me of Amicus. Like this, when he does his awkward side smile. Right. My eyes widen in realization that this wolf had not only seen me naked, but also put me in what just as well could have been a diaper. I feel my face turning red, heat rising to my cheeks. Thank you. I blurt out awkwardly. I can see the wolf pick up on my train of thought as he looks to the side of his ears folded back. With his ears folded back, but he quickly regains his composure. You're welcome. As much as I want to change the subject, I need to make sure I understand what he meant. Shit, excuse me. So, I was passed out in the woods, butt naked. Pretty much. He shrugs, clearly as uncomfortable with the topic as I am. I'm not sure why. It's not like he was the one whisked away in the nude by a strapping wolf man. Oh my god. This is some first-class damsel in distress crap. Yeah, by the way, that you were touching his fucking boobies. I'm sure he's the embarrassed one. Weird. Yeah. Damn, it's fucking succulent. The wolf sits down on the bed, leaving some distance between us. We avoid looking at each other, although we both sneak a peek from time to time. I can't understand what I was doing naked in the forest. It just doesn't sound like something I would do. It had to be someone else who did this to me, and it's an unsettling thought. Was I kidnapped? Mugged and left for dead? Or maybe drugged and taken into the woods to... No! I shake my head. I don't even want to entertain that idea. However, I cannot help but wonder how I ended up there. And where's my home? I must have a family somewhere. Someone who loves and cares about me. Someone who would be searching for me. But nothing comes to my mind. Only this wolf. Without him, I would be completely alone here, and that's terrifying. I can hear his tail swish across the line, and he's either nervous or excited. His paws slide slowly across the bedding towards my leg. I try not to notice, curious what he's up to, until he pricks me with his dull claw. What are you doing? I scoff in amusement. Sorry, this is all new to me. I'm simply curious. Didn't mean any offense. He fidgets with his fingers, looking innocently at the window. No, it's fine, I guess. Seemed only fair after I felt you. After I fucking touched your boobs! After I caressed both of your pectoralis majors. Yeah, oh, what a freak. He's a freak too. Yeah, you took some liberties. He smirks, giving me a sigh. Okay, that. I decide to move closer to him, pushing out my chest with a challenging smile. Let's get even. We just met. Oh my god. These novels crack me up. Like I've seen memes where the main character in the hot deuteragonist, the main character in the hot deuteragonist just immediately touch and feel each other up the moment they meet. Like the same kind of happened in Liar. It's happening here. Did it happen in Ad Astra? Kinda, maybe. Not really. But still. Rannoch looks at me with surprise in his eyes, but quickly smiles back, his tail wagging in obvious joy. Yeah, wouldn't it be funny if Volgor came back with Varissa as he's feeling his love? He slowly reaches out his paw, hesitant to touch me outright. I think he doesn't want to come off as too eager and smirk, tilting my head in a little in a really expression. He scoffs and finally musters the courage to make contact, touching my chest with his warm pads. I look down at his paw and can't help but feel amazed. It easily covers both my breasts, driving home how tiny I am compared to this guy. Oh my god. This is like This is like Ad Astra if we were isekai. No, this is like Liar if we were isekai'd into Ad Astra. It tickles, but I try to maintain my composure. Being touched like this is weird enough without making it even weirder with girly giggles. If I'm really the first human he's ever met, then I know perfectly how confusing and mesmerizing this has to be for him. After all, I've lived through this same experience just a few moments ago. You're quite something, he mutters, sliding his fingertips along my arm. Soft and fragile, your skin almost like parchment. I furrow my brows at the comparison, but then again, I guess it's true. And compared to them, I am quite fragile. Aren't you cold? He asks absent-mindedly while brushing his paw across my side. Another ticklish cramp shoots through my body, and I can no longer rein in my instincts. I twist in a hearty laugh, pushing his paw away. Stop! It tickles. Oh? He gasps in amusement. Good to know. But yeah, I'm quite cold actually. Do you have any shirts I could borrow? Rannoch grins awkwardly, pointing to his furry body. Right. I guess you have no need for any. The only thing I could offer is my spare gambeson, but I doubt it would be comfortable. He points to his padded quilt, and I have to agree. I'm not sure how I'd even wear that. I just need to cover my top, really. You're not concerned about your fucking loincloth, really? I mean, I guess. I sigh, looking around for something else to cover myself with. I settle for one of the blankets that lays on the bed, tugging at it. Rannoch stands up for a moment, allowing me to pull it out from underneath him. Can we just go back to the fact that when we were gagged up, were we using this guy's loincloth as a gag? Anyway, Rannoch stands up for a moment, allowing me to pull it out from underneath him. I wrap it around myself almost like a poncho, shielding my body from the draft. So, what do we do now? I ask, looking at the wolf with a risen brow. We could talk, get to know each other. I shake my head. I meant this whole mess we found ourselves in. Well, I think I'm responsible for returning you back to your people. Whoever they may be. I shrug, knowing full well I have no idea where I would even return to. None of this feels right. Even if it seems fairly real, I have a nagging feeling that I don't belong here. Almost as if it were just a dream, something I just need to write out until I finally wake up. Your memories will return in time, I'm sure of it. Well, I'm not. In the meantime, I just need to protect you. From what you two said earlier, that might be easier said than done. That's where Verissa comes in. She's our shaman. If anyone can figure out how to sort this out, it's her. Sort out how? Well, I can't hide you in my home forever. Sooner or later, someone would sniff you out. He frowns for just a moment, but a confident smile quickly returns to his muzzle. I just need to find an angle to present your case to our chief and ensure your safety. And what is my case? That you have a right to sanctuary. Meaning? It's an ancient Sylvan law, preceding any of the woven laws. It means that any gravely wounded creature should be granted protection within our forest. But I'm not wounded. I glance over my body, checking both the torso and the sides. I cannot see my back, so I reach out with my hand trying to feel out anything. At least not gravely. I am sore, but my skin for the most part seems to be intact. When I found you, I thought you were, and even now, although you're not physically hurt, it's clear you've suffered some sort of trauma. If you found me naked, why would you think I was hurt? Rannoch winces at the question. This doesn't bid well. Rannoch? He remains silent, clearly struggling with the answer, and my voice fills with dread. Why did you think I was gravely wounded? You were covered in blood and viscera. A lot of it. I blink. What? I thought you were attacked and left for dead. What the hell? I can't even begin imagine myself splayed out naked in the middle of the forest, let alone drenched in blood. But, again, I reach to feel up my body and find nothing. The blood couldn't have been mine. What was going on? What was going on in that forest? This whole situation gets weirder and weirder with each word this wolf utters. You were unresponsive, and your heartbeat was so faint. I thought you were dying. His voice falters slightly, causing me to swallow hard. I'm glad I was out for that part. I had to try to save you, so I decided to bring you here. I came across Volgor halfway to the village. He might not want to admit it, but even he was shaken by your state. At least it made it easier to convince him to help smuggle you. I can't imagine Volgor being moved by anything, and that one sentiment alone drives home how terrifying I must have looked. It seemed like you barely survived a massacre. Once we got here, I began cleaning you of all the blood, washing you bit by bit. I feel a hot flush as it dawns on me what this means. I was out cold, naked, and this wolf... You washed me? I swallow heavily again, the lump in my throat growing larger. Even though it's obvious he had to, the idea is quite embarrassing. He mirrors my discomfort, looking away in a defensive tone in his voice. I needed to find where the blood was coming from, but I couldn't find anything. There was not a single scratch on her body. He was so flustered that I almost feel bad for him. I didn't mean to insinuate anything. I smile at his hasty explanation, just wanting to put him at ease. There are a few now. I say with a cheeky grin, showing a few scrapes and bruises left by the black wolf. Although Raynock smiles for a moment, I can see his ears splay back. My good intentions seem to have backfired. Sorry about that. It's not your fault. I touch his shoulder, trying to reassure him. Well, I did leave you in his care. True, and knowing him just for a few moments, I wouldn't leave him alone with another living being. I chuckle, trying to cheer him up. But you didn't have a choice. Yeah. He sounds unconvinced, looking away towards the window. I can tell he feels responsible for me, and what Volgor did doesn't sit well with him. I decide to drop the subject, but I appreciate seeing how much he cares about it. So, the blood wasn't mine? Raynock slumps, resting his elbows on his knees and looking straight at the floor. In retrospect, if it was yours, it would have meant that you were bled dry. There's so much of it. That's one of the reasons why Vol quickly turned against you. What? Why? To him, it meant you weren't a victim, but rather... He can't think I had anything to do with that. I protest, throwing my arms out. I mean, look at me. Do I look like I'm capable of eviscerating someone? Well, I don't think you are, but it did unsettle him. Besides, it goes deeper than that. I had a moral right to save you, had you been hurt, but you were not. I brought you into the village under a false pretense. But you didn't know that at the time. I should have checked before I acted. As it stands, you were either dangerous or somehow involved with blood magic. I'm not dangerous. I cut myself off, allowing his words to fully sink in. Wait, did you just say blood magic? Are you for real? I scoff. I am. There's magic? He looks at me with a serious gaze, as if ignoring my silly question. The more Volgor and I thought about it, the more convinced we became that you were part of some sort of dark ritual. What? I freeze, not out of fright, but utter disbelief. I think you were meant as a sacrifice. My mind is spinning, unable to comprehend what I'm being told. I don't even... I pause, just staring blankly at the wall. You okay? Talking wolves. Strange feeling of dread. Whispers in the dark. No blood magic. It's like a mad dream. I cannot contain the storm in my mind, and I just spew out everything in quick succession. I think I need a pause here. You keep saying these things, but I don't understand any of them. You might as well be talking in a foreign language. I get a massive headache just by listening to you. It's like you're from another fucking world. In a sense, we are. He shrugs casually, but to me nothing about this is casual. I want to say something, but I am immediately cut off by the sound of the door opening in the adjacent room. Someone entered the cabin. They're here. The grey wolf raises to his feet, approaching the doors. Great, so much for my pause. I mumble in annoyance, knowing full well I'll have to digest another portion of complete nonsense. A female's voice reaches us from the other room, just as Raynock opens the door. I bet it's the shaman they spoke of. If this is another of your pathetic attempts at courtship, then... A white she-wolf snorts at Volgor as she cuts off, entering the room. I'm immediately drawn to her moonstone. It's a quarter moon. By Alna, it's an actual human. As opposed to what? An imaginary one? She looks quite young to be a shaman, and even though I'm not familiar with what shamans actually do, something tells me they should be a bit more experienced. Her golden eyes gaze at me with disbelief for a moment, before turning to Raynock. Have you lost your damned mind? She glares furiously at the grey wolf, who winces and slums slightly in deference. Verissa? That's a female who stumbles back, evidently startled by the sound of her name coming from my lips. Did it speak my... Don't get too excited. We mentioned your name to the humans several times. No spiritual trickery involved. I try to contain a smirk at Volgar's remark. His pragmatism and down-to-earth attitude are really starting to grow on me. The female's eyes narrow as she moves closer, but she still keeps a safe distance between herself and the bed. So that's what humans look like. Her eyebrows rise at my appearance, and I swear I can hear a hint of disappointment in her voice. It's as if she experienced something. Well, something more than I have to offer. Or expected something. Why did I say experienced? I'm getting tired. This one seems rather small, no? I throw an annoyed gaze towards Volgar. I know I'm not a bodybuilder like those two, but I don't need them to rub it in every chance they get. Yes, it does, but then again, I wouldn't know. Never seen one before. The female shrugs, and all my hopes of her actually giving me some medical attention melt away. How can she treat a creature if she's never encountered it before? Surely you have to know something. Raynock echoes my concern. Yes, Raynock. I know they are two-legged, upright creatures, between 5 to 6 feet tall, with little to no fur. Her voice conveys a sense of annoyance that I can almost relate to. I only have our text to go by, and they don't really deal with humans in detail. I don't think anyone's even seen one in almost 2 generations. If humans are indeed as rare as they make them out to be, how can they expect her to know any more than they do? Still, the idea of me being some sort of endangered species doesn't seem quite right, almost as if I'm in a topsy-turvy world. Oh, joy. This is going to be that more interesting explain to his father. Who is Raynock's father? You've been making a huge fuss about him ever since I woke up. The two males look at each other, while the female seems to be completely focused on me, her expression full of shock, no doubt caused by me speaking. I roll my eyes, knowing the conversation is going to be derailed by this at any moment. He's the chief. The chief is Raynock's father. Shit. I blurred out, thrown off by the revelation. Somehow, I thought those were two different wolves. Wasn't that obvious from the conversation? Sorry, I didn't keep track of all the nonsense you two were... Sorry, I didn't keep track of all the nonsense you two were spewing. What else did I miss? But if the chief is Raynok's father, that's surely an advantage. You weren't bluffing. It does speak our language. Unnerving. Oh great, here we go again. Yes, I can talk. I bark out in annoyance. So can we please not do this? Can we please not do this again? I'm so tired. I've almost been recording this for 2 hours, and it's almost midnight for me. Veressa looks at me as one would look at an insolent child. I told you, not a trace of an accent. We already kind of exhausted the subject. The kid speaks. Let's just leave it at that. How old are we? He keeps referring to it as kid. And I know he means that as more of a familiar, platonic way, but still. The grey wolf comes to my aid, and I smile at him with gratitude. I really do not want to revisit this conversation. It almost mentally broke me the last time. Versa sighs and nods in understanding. Listen, child. You cannot speak a word to anyone else but us. I furrow my brows. Being talked down and patronized doesn't sit right with me. They're not that much older than I am. How old are we? What the fuck? I'm not a child. Then again, they are talking beasts. My ability to judge their age just by looks must be somewhat limited, but I'm sure Raynok can't be that much older than me. He mentioned that he just came of age, right? Yeah, how old is Raynok? Is he 18? 20? Oh. How old are you then? I cut myself off, then struggling with this ever-present nothingness in my mind. I can't remember how old I am, but I know I'm not a child. I'm of age. I summarize, not exactly sure what that means to the wolves, but I'm fairly certain that for humans, that's exactly what I am. Curious. You don't look it. I mean, yeah. Can we see? Yeah, from that dagger CG, we look pretty young. We barely turned 18 in there. She mutters, unconvinced. I would take it as a compliment, but I can bet it's another jab at how small I am. It doesn't really matter, now does it? My quip causes Raynok to laugh. Witty and sharp tongue. The female looks at Raynok with a hint of fear in her eyes. This is serious. Oh, for crying out loud. Why are you all so obsessed with my ability to speak? Why do you want me to play mute in front of others? I can see that she gets more spooked out with each sentence I utter, and it only frustrates me more. Are you telling me that cavemen are supposed to be some sort of primitive cavemen? Is that what it is? Because let me tell you, this how and your outfits look like they're out of a fucking history book. What? It's a good house. That's kind of funny. It's a Raynok. He's funny. I like him. Also, he's kind of cute, so I kind of want to fuck him. Raynok glances around his room with slight confusion, while Verissa briefly checks out her dress. We know that your species isn't primitive. Then why do you want me to play dumb? She finally snaps at me with a soft, almost melodic growl. Because others won't understand. And we do. What is there to understand? I ask in resignation. No outsider speaks our language. We don't teach it to other kin. She almost says it with disgust in her voice. The only creatures that can speak our language are other Avalan wolves. Avalan? I mean, I've said Avalan earlier, but that's how you say it. and huskies, but they always have this unbearable twang to the way they speak. I love this writing so much. You speaking to us like you were born here. It's unheard of. Bordering on sacrilegious. She rests her face in a paw, rubbing her temple. Sacrilegious? Our language is a part of who we are as people. It was given to us by our ancestors to keep and guard as our own, so that we can communicate with them. We don't take kindly to other kin who try to learn it. Teaching outsiders is a capital offense. I don't know why or how I would learn it, which is more the reason for you to keep quiet. It is clear someone had to teach you, and from the way you speak, it was obviously one of our own. Not only is your life in danger, you could send the entire tribe into a frenzy. Frenzy? It's clear someone betrayed us and broke our laws by teaching outsiders to speak. You're the walking proof of that. We'd have the elders clamoring for blood. And that's the last thing our tribe needs now, more paranoia. This is all utter nonsense. I've never seen a talking wolf in my life. Until today, that is. I shrug. The female looks at me expectantly, but I have nothing else to add. Volgor said that you seem to be suffering from a memory loss. I'd say it's far more likely you don't remember meeting a wolf who taught you our language, rather than you miraculously gaining the ability out of the blue. Wouldn't you agree? I guess. I reluctantly concede. In all fairness, both options seem equally plausible, because to me none of this makes any sense, but I'm not about to argue that to a she-wolf who is convinced that her reality is more valid than mine. Especially since we apparently need her to save my skin. Now that we have this out of the way, let us deal with the more pressing matter. What in the name of Anna is the human even doing here? Shit. I rest my cheeks in my hand, slumping down as Raynok begins to explain his entire misadventure. How old is Raynok? Is he 18? At least? I pay as much attention as I can, as some parts of the story flew over my head earlier. However, there are no surprises. Raynok went on his spiritual trip, couldn't find any enlightenment, so he decided to meditate under his tree. Whatever that means. Apparently, that's where he found me, drenched in blood. I have to question the ancestors the wolves worship. This is truly all part of their plan. It's a shoddy one at best. The whole setup seems more akin to a horror story than an actual spiritual journey. But then again, what do I know? I watch as the female listens carefully to what is being said, but she doesn't show any emotion, even when Raynok clumsily tries to implicate her through his coming-of-age ceremony or suggests that I was a part of some sort of dark ritual. She's eerily calm, or at least good at hiding her inner thoughts. That's pretty much it. The Grey Wolf concludes his explanation and silence falls over the room. It drags on for a bit while we all look at Varissa expectantly. She keeps us in a suspense for a while longer, most likely weighing her options. Sweet ancestors, you are the dumbest wolf in the tribe, if not the whole of Avalan. She sighs again, not showing much of any emotion. Can you help me protect him? What choice do I have? Finally something, a hint of annoyance. It's not exactly filling me with hope, but Volgor proves me wrong. You really want to get involved? You've already involved me. Besides, other kin or not, this human is not at fault. She looks at me with pity. From what you both told me, the human was out cold. It's Raynok who broke the law. I would not be able to sleep knowing that I allowed an innocent to pay for his stupidity. I find it hardly fair to belittle Raynok like this. Not when he saved my life. No need to speak. She cuts me off, addressing the two wolves. This is a very precarious situation. We are risking the fury of our tribe. But can you help us? I need to commune with the spirits. I have an idea how to fix this, but I don't want to make our ancestors. But I want to make sure our ancestors won't find it objectionable. Yeah, sure. Go huff some incense while we worry about what to do with this whelp. Again, it's not hard to chuckle at Volgor's jabs. It's nice for once not to be the receiving end of those. However, I find myself troubled that any plan involving my safety relies on substance abuse. Yes, I will have some incense so that I can receive guidance on how to avoid us all getting banished. The female reiterates through her fangs. They keep talking about this about banishment, but I can't quite understand what for. If it's about me keeping my mouth shut, I will. That's only one of the problems. The female retorts, looking at me with a slight annoyance. I guess she really meant it when she said I shouldn't talk, but I don't care. The forest around our village is sacred. No outsiders are allowed. So they said, but there must be some exceptions. There are none. Trespassing is punishable by death. Even Raynark's delusion about the right of sanctuary is just that. A delusion. She waves her hand towards the grey wolf in dismissal. Our people haven't been a part of the Sylvan for nearly 1,000 years. Claiming ancient customs as defense for smuggling you in would be tricky to say the least. The idiot should have killed you. Should have killed you where he found you. I frown. Seems a bit harsh. Maybe to you, but it is our forest and it is our duty to protect it. Protect it from what? I don't even know how I got here in the first place. What could I possibly do? The she-wolf sighs, looking at the ceilings with annoyance. I have clearly exhausted her patience. The human asks a lot of questions. I'm sorry, but you keep saying my life is on the line. I'd like to at least understand why. I get the language part, but what possible danger could I pose to your forest? I'm not an arsonist. The female continues to disregard me, causing a moment of silence. She throws an angry state of rant at Rhiannoc, and I can see his ears splay back as he looks at me apologetically. I'll explain everything later. You said yourself you need to pause and we need to focus on our next steps. I take a deep breath, giving him a defiant look, but eventually exhale with a drawn-out sigh. As much as I want to understand what's going on, a break would allow me to digest all I have learned so far. My mind is slightly spinning from all the revelations. I nod with a reluctant smile, and I can see Rannoch's expression lighten up. It's nice to know how much he cares about my mood. Somehow, I feel like that's not something I'm used to. Someone caring. We need to figure out how to present the facts to my father. And those are that I was meant to find Kalen, and that he is meant to be here. You're putting our collective fur on the line. The black wolf issues a stifled growl. He is, but as insane as it sounds, claiming it was all fate is our best chance. You can't be serious! Everything will be fine. The spirits willed it. For all our sakes, I really hope that's the case. The female embraces herself, looking at me with a worried, almost empathetic expression. This is going to be a tough nut to crack. I hope you two are ready for a potential fallout. Moon knows, not sure I am. Remember your own ceremony. Rannoch looks up at her with determination. Your road will be hard, but you must never waver or stray from the path. That was the message you got from the ancestors. He nods confidently, causing the female to stare at him with a slightly open muzzle. None of this was meant to be easy. Veressa smiles softly and finally approaches me, stopping right next to the bed and placing her paw on my head. It's much smaller and lighter than Rhinox, however the gesture is equally tender. It's surprising that, for someone so stupid, you managed to come up with something almost eloquent. Oh, come on! I hear the black male protest with in the back with familiar mockery in his voice. Life will be hard, so keep at it. How is that a prophecy? That can apply to anyone in any given situation. It has nothing to do with the human. Shut up, Vol. She sighs, not even regarding him. I found Kalen lying underneath my name tree. He knew my name, speaks our language. The spirits willed it. It's not a coincidence. Volgor issues an exhausted sigh. Or it is exactly that. A coincidence. A coincidence. Consider this. He proposes, drawing our attention with his paw. A confused human who speaks our language runs through the forest, stumbles upon a random tree, and reads the inscription. When it faints, it mumbles the last thing it saw. No spirits involved. Despite his crudeness, I have to agree with him on this. Even though I don't remember anything prior to my awakening, I might have been running through the woods, and if I did see a tree with a name on it, I most likely read it. And you can I can't read. And you consider this. The female speaks up, almost mockery in her voice, yet she holds her composure. If that was the case, then we're truly done for. All of us. She swishes her paw around the room, encompassing everyone, even me. If that's all just coincidence, as you claim, then the human broke the law by entering the grove. He's dead. Her paw points to me, which sends a cold shiver down my spine. I struggle to swallow. My throat clenches tight. As my throat clenches tight, I can feel a bead of sweat running down my forehead. This idiot is facing banishment for not protecting the grove from intrusion. She points to Raynok, then sighs, as her paw nonchalantly waves at the black male. Worse yet, you helped him smuggle the outsider with the boundary of our village. That's banishment for you, too. Not sure what double banishment would mean for Rannoch, but I'm fairly certain his father would not kill him, even though the law demands it. I look at the gray male with worry. The consequences he's facing are almost as dire as mine. I guess Volgor was telling the truth about his friend not thinking things through. And then there's me. The female finally breaks the silence with a resigned exhale. You damn well know I haven't finished my training. Everyone questions my abilities as a shaman. My very first ceremony, the first communion with the spirit world, and I made Rannoch drag a human into the village, breaking our most sacred laws. That's the end of me being a shaman. She lets the words hang for a moment. And now you brought me here, where instead of immediately sounding an alarm, I'm trying to help you two fix this. The penalty for being part of this conspiracy is banishment. The female points to each of us in quick succession, starting with me, Rannoch, Volgor, and finishing on herself. Death, banishment, banishment, banishment. So, she looks at the Black Wolf. This is not a silly misunderstanding, Vol. We can't talk our way out of this or use our positions to mitigate the damage. Shall we then agree that this is the will of the spirits, or should we simply march to the chopping block? She asks with a melodic, almost taunting tone. There's a simple solution, but I'm sure neither of you will approve. Rannoch issues a stifled growl. Then why bring it up? Just putting it out there. The Black Wolf shrugs. Snapping its neck would solve the problem, but it would be slightly awkward now that it has a name. Yes, he does, so you might as well start using it. I'm going to stick with Piglet for now. No point in getting attached just yet. The Black Wolf gives me a cold gaze, but his muzzle is tinged with worry. We're all walking on thin ice here. The female shakes her head in dismissal. Don't you worry. I intend to save our pelts as well as the human's life. The female approaches the doors, opening it. So, you know how to fix this. I already said I do. I just need to make sure I will not offend the ancestors. As she is about to leave, she stops, turning towards the two wolves. Our little congregation was most likely noted. I suggest we disperse not to raise any further suspicion. The wolves nod to each other in agreement. Am I to stay here alone? Kaelin, was it? Since you claim you're not a child, I assume you'll be fine on your own. I frown at her snarky remark, but not in agreement. Well, you keep an eye on the house. Make sure there's no snooping about. There's no one snooping about. Raynock, you must go and speak with Tano. Why? The male scoffs, seemingly appalled by her suggestion. Because not joining your father on the hunt already looked very odd. Chat him up about rangers or patrols or whatever it is you fur for brains do. Make up an excuse to put him at ease. Who's Tano? A nosy bastard. And the last thing we need is him sniffing about. I don't understand. Can't you just stay at home? She looks at me with a slightly risen brow, clearly annoyed I keep talking. We are a tightly knit community. Meeting up in seclusion reeks of dissent. With that, she leaves the room, Volgor following suit. Only Rannoch stays behind for a moment, as if struggling to decide on something. Eventually, he approaches me and crouches next to the bed, so that our eyes are on the same level. He gently squeezes my shoulder with his paw, one of his fangs poking out through a goofy smile. I won't be long, he says encouragingly. Once I'm back, we'll be able to talk some more, okay? I nod and snicker, hearing his tail swoosh against the wooden floor in excitement. The way he wags his tail with such enthusiasm almost begs the question why the whole place is so dirty. One does not even need a broom with a wolf like that around. Raynock! The female calls out impatiently from the other room. Just stay out of sight. I'll be fine. I reassure him, but I hear a deep rumble inside my stomach. The cramps make me squirm as if I never eaten a meal before. Fuck, I can't read. I'm ravenous, and I think the stress of the situation is the only thing that kept my attention away from it. If I could only have something to eat. I see the wolf look at me with a troubled expression, as if he didn't factor that I require sustenance. Renock slaps his forehead in deep annoyance. Spirits, I'm so stupid. What is it now? The black wolf calls out from the other room, appearing in the doorway. How are we going to feed him? I can eat pretty much anything. I mumble, although the idea of raw meat is making me queasy. Fuck. Volgar's resigned curse makes me think that my diet is not the main problem here. Oh. We eat together as a tribe. Only mothers with pups are allowed to eat separately. Smuggling food home is looked down upon as a sign of gluttony and would immediately arouse suspicion. I look to Raynock's troubled expression. I can see he didn't think this through, none of it. But as he meets my worried gaze, his expression changes immediately. I'll get you some food, he says, determined, but a slight unease lines his voice. No, I'll do it. We both look to Vol with surprise. I'll be keeping an eye on the house anyway. He shrugs with a hint of embarrassment, and even Raynock picks up on it, smirking. You're warming up to Kaelin, aren't you? Pish! As if, you idiot. It's just easier that way. The black male scoffs indignantly. No one would dare follow me. Once the feast starts, I'll bring the piglet some roast. I hope roasted meat agrees with you. I smile in relief as the thought of eating raw was banished by his words. Why did I assume they would eat something uncooked when they're clearly as civilized as I am? Let's go. Volgor utters impatiently, tapping his foot against the ground and causing Raynock to stand up. The grey wolf winks at me, while tilting his head towards the small window. Stay out of sight. I nod as he follows his companions out of the bedroom. While they close the doors behind, and a moment later I can hear them leave the house together. I'm finally alone. I look around the tiny room, idly patting at the bedding. There isn't much noise, mostly some distant chatter I can't make out, muffled voices too far away to be intelligible. What I do hear is the forest, wind ruffling the leaves and birds chirping in nearby trees. I'm tempted to approach the window and simply take in the scenery, but I know better. I close my eyes and chuckle nervously. This is utter nonsense. I must be dreaming. Or maybe I'm the one who huffed some incense. Whatever the case, I'm exhausted by all of this, so I allow my head to fall freely onto the pillow. I collapse into the fabric, allowing it to wrap around me in a warm embrace. It only takes me a moment to sink down into it. The snugness makes my eyelids droop instantly, as heavy as if they were made of lead. For some odd reason, I feel extremely exhausted, almost as if staying awake was unnatural to me. I guess that's what stress does to you. I try to look at the ceiling for a bit, seeking patterns in the naked woodwork, locating different burrows and knots within the natural grain of the planks. I yawn, closing my eyes, as I let the fatigue overtake me and I drift away into a peaceful sleep. I suddenly wake to a loud, resonating thud. I get up immediately, seeing the room covered in darkness. It's clearly night. How long was I asleep? Another thud makes me jump up, but this time I know it's where it's coming from. Someone's banging on the window. Raynock? I call out quietly towards the next room. I know the male went to deal with his tribesmen, but I hope he already returned. The banging continues, this time more impatient, and I start to panic. I look towards the window, trying to remain hidden within the shadows of the room. I'm not supposed to be seen. I can make out a large dark figure, obviously a wolf. I think it might be one of the tribesmen snooping around. Wasn't Volgor supposed to make sure this didn't happen? Open the damn window! I hear the familiar cold voice and exhale in relief. I approach the window, feeling a lot less worried than before, quickly locating the latch, holding it closed. Both wings open with a tortured creak, obviously not being used to being swung ajar. Here's your chow, piglet. The wolf passes me a sizable bundle wrapped in a linen cloth. Thank you. I respond, taking the parcel. I smile, feeling the aroma of roasted meat hit my nostrils. I nearly forgotten how hungry I am. Aren't you going to come in? No one lives with Raynock and he's not home. Besides, it's already night. I look around, noticing how dark the outside world has gotten. Can't he have a friend over? I ask, slowly unfolding the cloth. Not overnight. The black male responds, almost appalled by the suggestion. Why? Because that would make them both look defective. I make a dumb huh sound, to which he only gives me a telling gaze. Oh, guess wolves don't like homosexuality. Just because two guys are alone in the same room at night doesn't mean they. I try to rationalize, but I can see his rising brow with each word I utter. Yeah, that does sound a bit off now that I think about it. Is that why you're standing outside the window? Afraid I would seduce you. To my surprise, Vulgar snorts at the suggestion and almost smiles. An actual pig would have better chances at that. I raise an eyebrow with a challenging smirk. It seems more suspicious to have males sneaking about windows rather than having them over for a drink. Vulgar narrows his brows, looking at me with slight amusement. You couldn't drink your way out of a piss bucket, suckling. Ouch. The jab wasn't malicious, but ouch. He's definitely being playful, but considering choking me was his gentler side, Why would I expect his verbal spars to be any tamer? I just shake my head with a smile. At least having a female over has to be normal around here, right? I don't believe you, even for a moment, that this village was full of celibate homophobes. How about a lady caller then? Can he have those over? Volgor snorts again. He can. And as much as you... he can. And as much as you do sound like a little bitch, it's a small tribe. I nearly choke at the sharp remark, looking at Vol with obvious annoyance. He clearly enjoys that at least one of his jabs clearly landed. Having a female over is quite hard to misunderstand. A maid leads to rumors, rumors reach suspicion, and suspicion leads to wolves sniffing about. We wouldn't want that, would we? I shrug, finally opening the parcel to reveal its contents. It's filled with succulent cuts of meat. They don't look the most appetizing, mostly shredded apart without care, but the smell alone is enough to make my mouth water. I quickly glance around, really troubled by our little rendezvous. It does look quite conspicuous. Don't worry. If anyone gets close enough to vanish in time. I'll know if anyone gets close enough to vanish in time. Damn. I've been recording for 2 hours. Does it indicate when the chapter ends? I don't know. I flash my brows indifferently. Guess not. Only Renock is full of himself. I quickly grab one of the chunks and bring it to my lips. Volgor gazes at me with extreme curiosity, but I'm far too hungry to pay him any mind. I take a ravenous bite. The meat falls apart at the slightest touch of my tongue, almost melting inside my mouth. I gasp it in satisfaction, closing my eyes in complete bliss. It's good. It's very good. But no matter how hard I try, I cannot figure out what it is and that I'm actually eating. Despite my memory being wiped clean, I can still recall certain things. I remember how chicken tastes, or beef. This is something different entirely. I take another chunk, hastily sniffing it whole into my mouth. God, I'm hungry, and this meat is hitting the spot. It tastes like nothing I ever knew. It's slightly sweet and it has an earthy, almost nutty flavor to it. Oh god, where is it? Fuck, how the fuck do I, so good? What is it? I asked, still chewing through the sinew, forgetting my manners for a moment. Roasted boar, the male responds. There's an odd discomfort in his voice, but I ignore him. I'm utterly consumed by this meal, and I can finally feel the large void in my stomach fill up. It's almost as if I hadn't eaten in forever. I take another piece of meat, reveling in its tenderness and juices. This is going to make me sick. The black male finally catches my attention with his troubled confession. I can see his distress, as if he was truly struggling to keep down his own meal. What? I ask him, mouth still full of meat, as I lick my greasy fingers. I wondered how you can eat without a muzzle, but this... He struggles, covering his snout, as one does to stop a reflux. You're just stuffing it into a hole in your head. I blink in confusion as the male turns away from me. Is he serious? He's really unsettled just by watching me eat? I chuckled, making nothing of it, and continue with my meal. The idea of this large, cold warrior getting weak at the knees because of my mouth is too much. I'm about to laugh when... Did he actually fucking vomit? Volker is just wretched a few steps away from the window. I look at his crouching figure in momentary disbelief, but as he purges again, I immediately take my food off the ledge. I know that if the acidity smell hits my nose, I will join him in emptying my own stomach, so I quickly close the window. I stand there looking for any signs of him getting better, but after a while, I bring another piece of my meat into my mouth with a shrug. I'm still hungry after. Finally, Volgor appears on the other side of the glass, looking at me with an accusatory gaze. I pause, but his embarrassment makes me chuckle, and then I lose it. I explode in laughter, which causes the male to wave at me in panic. It only makes me laugh harder. I can't believe I made this wolf sick just by eating. Shh, be quiet. He shushes me, but I'm unable to rein myself in. Shut up, flat face. I'll come in there and choke you again. He finally growls in a playful annoyance. I hush down, looking at him with a smirk. Flat face? You really need to keep quiet. If anyone finds you here. I know. I roll my eyes. But I really think you three are exaggerating a little bit. I blurt out, causing a black wolf's eyes to narrow. Your people wouldn't kill me just because I got lost in their woods. I mean, even you understand this isn't right. You know nothing, Piglet. I shrug, continuing to nibble on the meat. I'll only tell you this so that you have no illusions about this not being serious. Long ago, a Tigerian noble desecrated our grove. Desecrate how? He carved his name into one of the name trees. I narrow my brow, looking at him with confusion. Isn't that what a name tree is for? Like a I've been here kind of thing? No. He says this with a deadly serious tone, his jovialty now completely gone. They are sacred to my people. They supposedly keep the spirits of our ancestors tethered to this world. How does that work? The wolf waves his paw at me dismissively. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that we issued punishment, as was our right, despite knowing it would cause a war. A war we had little hope of winning. Wait, you killed someone just because of graffiti? Maybe. If you live long enough, you will understand. For now, just accept that, to us, damaging a name tree is one of the worst crimes one can commit. I shake my head in disbelief. Was it really worth starting a war over? We didn't start it. The Tigers did. Because you killed one of their own over something so. Don't talk about things you have no understanding of. He raises his voice ever so slightly as he stifles a growl. Those trees are definitely a sore spot for the wolves. Our world ceased to exist long ago. Otherkin saw to it. This forest and our traditions are all we have left of what was lost. I can detect an odd twinge of sadness and longing in his voice, something I've never heard him from the male. The wolves will go to any lengths to protect what's left, even if it means going to war. If anyone learns that you're here, a lynch mob would have torn you to shreds before any of us had the chance to react. I stopped eating, feeling the weight of his words finally sink in. Despite not really understanding the full context of what he said, it's clear that the wolves hate otherkin. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. The black male looks at me with annoyance for a moment, before exhaling heavily. Just take this seriously. It's enough that Raynok makes light of the situation. I don't want to lose my moon brother, not because of. He cuts himself off, looking at me with almost apologetic gaze. Me. I finished the sentence for him, although I'm sure he meant to use some sort of insult. It's nothing personal. I know, and I'll be careful. Believe me, I do not have a death wish. The black wolf smirks at me, most likely trying to lighten the situation. No? Well, you could have fooled me. I better go. If I stay much longer, others will wonder where I disappeared to. Well, he throws me a surprised gaze when I can see his brow narrow slightly in annoyance. Should have used his full name, but fuck it. Thanks. He shrugs, leaving me alone, and I return to the bed. I plop into the mattress, bouncing up and down a bit, trying to calm myself down. I really hope I didn't annoy him as much as it seemed I did. The delicious, meaty smell that drifts through the air from the parcel invites me to dig in once again. My mood instantly lifts, if only slightly, as I bite into another succulent cut. It's tasty, but I really wouldn't mind having something else to go with it. Bread. I close my eyes, instantly smiling upon the recollection of what bread is. The crunchy rim of a freshly baked loaf, the smell of it as it coming out straight from the oven. How do I even know these things? I shrug, continuing to eat. No point of dwelling on it, if I can't really do anything about it. Renock's right. Everything will be revealed in time. If I can randomly remember what bread is, I'm sure I'll remember something more tangible from my previous life. Previous life. I stop chewing and chuckle, considering what I'm actually saying. Whatever happened before these wolves around me seems completely separated from who I am now, almost as if I'd been severed from my past. I look at the crumpled cloth containing my dinner. I only ate half of it, if not less. The portion is generous, true, but I also lost my appetite. What is exactly going on with me? Shit, excuse me. I have no idea. I pulled the cloth back up, deciding to keep the rest of the meat for later. Slowly, I approached the small dresser. It's the very same one I had climbed when I first set my eyes on Volgor. My feet brush an object across the floor, and I notice the comb still lying there. I pick it up with a smile, remembering my defiant stand against the black wolf. With a shrug, I open the drawer from which I retrieved it and place it back in there. I shut it, not even looking inside. I'm a guest here. I shouldn't pry. Gently, I set the parcel down on the flat top and turn to approach the door. From what I understand, this house has at least one more room. I'm curious to see it. I put my ear to the door, trying to determine if anyone's there. Raynock? I utter, mostly to confirm what I already know. I slowly crack the doors open to see what's actually behind them. The room is similar in size to the bedchamber I woke up in, however it has 2 windows instead of 1. I can see the orange glow of a large bonfire coming from outside, and I hear the sound of wolves talking and laughing. It almost makes me want to approach the window and have a look, but I realize I'd be immediately spotted. My pale skin would reflect on the glow of the fire, making me look like a ghost behind the glass. I sigh instead to look around the room properly. There's a table with a set of chairs, another cupboard, and a large fireplace. All of it looks comfy, but incredibly rustic. Another thing I know. This is an incredibly old-timey looking house, though what a normal house should look like, I can't recall. I frown, realizing there's no other bed. There's only a stack of blankets from the hearth. Raynock gave me his own bed. I approached his makeshift bedding, crouching down beside it. I can tell it was slept in recently, strands of gray fur dotting the fabric. How long was I up before I woke up for the first time? A shadow moves by the front window, causing me to drop to my knees, hiding out of sight. There's a lot more movement outside, so the village is up and going despite the darkness. I can't tell the time, though. The passage of time is almost impossible to work out here, and although I don't know why, not being able to measure it fills me with incredible frustration. Why do I feel the need to know what time it is? Night is night. Where does the idea even measure it comes from? I shake my head. All of this is giving me a massive headache. I look around to find something to wash the meat down and find a jug on the table. I grab a cup and pour myself a glass. Taking a reluctant sip, I half expected wine or ale, but thankfully, it's just plain water. I empty the entire cup thirstily, pouring myself another round. I almost feel as if I'm having a drink for the first time in my life. Fuck, it's so weird. I gasp, finally having my fill. At some point, I'll have to use the toilet. However, I can clearly see there's none in the house. I wince, realizing that there's likely an outhouse somewhere in the back. Not only does that seem Spartan, but also I'm not allowed to leave. I guess I'll have to hold it in for a bit. Luckily, my body feels utterly empty, so I don't need to go just yet. Hopefully, everything will be settled before I do, and I'll be able to get out. The only thing worse than an outhouse would be a chamber pot. I cringed, shivering at the thought. Nope. I decided to return to my bed. Raynock is most likely occupied, and hearing how merry everyone is outside, this might take a while. I closed the door to the bedroom behind me, and approached the bed. The sound of faint music reaches my ears. It's very upbeat and almost invites one to dance. The feast seems to be quite a party. A pity I have to miss it. I allow myself to sway in the rhythm, moving from one leg to almost as if remembering something I used to do once upon a time. I must look incredibly foolish. I drop into the mattress chuckling, filled with a little bit of nostalgia. Just sitting on the bed makes me incredibly tired. I yawn uncontrollably. I've been out here for at least a day, considering Raynock had to sleep on the floor. And why am I so exhausted? Staying awake doesn't come naturally to me. My eyelids become incredibly heavy again, and I feel as if I am wrapped in a warm, snug embrace. It must be the meal I ate. It's so much meat is quite heavy for your stomach. That must be it. I'm just getting drowsy from eating. I rest my head on the pillow and close my eyes, allowing myself to drift away into that familiar nothingness. But it isn't nothingness. This time I don't lose awareness. Panic grips at my heart as I realize that I'm back where I was at the beginning of all of this. No, I don't want to feel this again. My body begins to fade into oblivion, all senses abandoning me aside from my consciousness. That's when the familiar voice returns, a multitude of words spoken all at once. I want to scream, but all I can do is simply think. What do you want? One chance. I feel a searing pain within my soul, as if the words hurt me. Stop. My whole being is screaming, an unimaginable agony. No, you stop it. I demand, unable to contain myself in this pit of despair. Too late. I want to fight back, but each word pushes me closer and closer to the brink of madness. I don't know whether the voices stop themselves, or did I simply give in, but after the last wave of pain, I pass out. Everything returns to the familiar feeling of abandon. Not a single dream reaches me, or at least that's what I think. It's as if I drift away onto the pillow, filled with a delicious meal, and everything simply paused. However, I can't shake off this odd feeling of dread. I feel something ominous at the edge of my consciousness. I feel like I'm being watched. A creaking plank stirs me from my sleep. I open my eyes in a panic, seeing nothing but darkness before me. I quickly locate the window, trying to confirm I haven't returned to the void. It's simply night, and I'm still here, in this strange world filled with talking wolves. Another creak causes me to jump up. Who's there? A shadow of a large beast moves slightly, sitting at the foot of my bed, its eyes glistening in the dark. My blood freezes, and I'm about to scream with a hint of light when a hint of light betrays a familiar gray coat. Whoa! Raynock. Damn. Anyway. God, why? I squeak out in both relief and panic. Couldn't sleep. Fucking succulent ass pecs. The wolf shrugs casually. And I wanted to get to know you better, without others hanging onto every word. And you intend to do that by creeping into the bed in the middle of the night? Was held up longer than expected. Raynaud gives me a goofy smile, as if he doesn't understand why this could be unsettling. It's the middle of the night. I try to reiterate. You're a wolf. Yes, and you're human. We've established that already. My point exactly. He gives me another naive smile, causing me to sigh in resignation. Most humans would find this whole setup extremely terrifying. Most wolves would find you extremely terrifying. The gray wolf retorts teasingly. Disgusting, maybe. I smirk, rolling my eyes, as I recall Volgor's earlier reaction. I don't find you disgusting. He protests, laughing. Do you find me terrifying?
He grins, playfully baring his fangs at me, but I try not to flinch. I'm not really sure what answer he expects, but I decide to be honest. I do. I mean, look at him. His fucking. I mean, you can see his cock literally bulging out. He's not wearing any underpants. Good. He nods with satisfaction. What good is a wolf if a tiny human doesn't fear him? He laughs, widening his smile and jokingly punching my shoulder. You want me to fear you? I asked teasingly, drawing a mischievous growl from Rannoch's throat. Despite it being just a game, it did startle me, but I keep my composure. Or so I think, because Rannoch simply laughs at me, his tail swooshing on the bed in glee. It doesn't take much to get your heart pumping, does it? Fuck, I forgot he has a heart rate monitor in his head. Wait, what? Just for a moment, I can hear a rhythmic beeping before it vanishes into nothingness. I heard it before, just before everything went black. Before I woke up in this room. To die so young. I think I died. The wolf blinks, completely thrown off by my remark. Is that your usual pickup line? Rannoch smirks slyly, his tail slapping the bed in anticipation. This time I'm the one blinking. What? I think I died and went to heaven. He grins flirtatiously, sliding closer towards me. What? No! I protest, pushing myself away. What's wrong with you? None of this is funny. I almost shout out in annoyance. I know I'm not angry at him, but I don't even understand why I'm angry in the first place. But I feel as if I'm mourning my own passing. I couldn't be dead. But then, where the hell am I? What the fuck is going on? I look at him wide-eyed, feeling as if they swell with tears. The wolf moves back to his original spot, looking defeated. He's slouching with ears folded back and his tail tucked to the side. I'm sorry, I didn't. You act like this is fun and games, but I'm truly terrified. My voice cracks and my mind races out of control. I'm at the edge of the abyss, just a step away from falling back into that dark hole. I'm really scared. The wolf stands up, causing the mattress to perk back up as his weight disappears. Not much is clear. He mutters sorrowfully. He sulks towards the door, obviously taking my outburst to heart. Ever since I woke up in this strange world, he's been nothing but kind and caring towards me. Even through my memory loss, deep in my heart, I know it's something I rarely experienced. It's not fair for him to feel dejected just because I'm paranoid. I'll leave you be. With a solemn expression, he grabs the door handle, intent to give me space. Wait! His brow raises at my sudden request. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to explode like this. Please don't leave me alone. Not now. He tilts his head in bewilderment at my pleading expression. I thought you didn't want me here. No, I do. I really do. It's just hard to stay here in the moment with all the thoughts spinning in my head. I think that's why I'm sleeping so much. To get a break. He closes the doors and hastily returns to my side. What happened? I had not a memory, but something flashed through my mind. It really spooked me. I can see that. The wolf sits down next to me, his fur brushing against my skin. It's soft and inviting. He looks at me inquisitively, but I only sit there, struggling to maintain my composure. I'm about to lose that battle, but he reaches around my back and pulls me close into a warm embrace. Resisting crosses my mind, but I instantly banish the thought. All that I want is to feel safe, and for whatever reason, every time he's around makes me feel just that. I surrender myself completely and allow him to cradle me into his chest. I try to calm myself down as he idly ruffles my hair. What was it? I don't know, but it makes me feel dead. You aren't dead. Certainly doesn't feel like I am, but still. I breathe heavily into his chest, his musk and smell of the forest filling my nose. He must have been drinking, since I can detect a faint whiff of wine coming from him. It's a common combination, almost like some sort of inhaling bomb. His gentle stroking and steady rising and falling of his chest soothes me further. Within moments, I manage to compose myself, and once I hear his tail wagging again, I gently push myself away from the wolf. I sigh, resting my face against his arms in resignation. This whole thing is so messed up. I feel him place his paw on my head. I feel so vulnerable. He ruffles my hair softly, the paw's weight matching the feeling in my gut. It's okay. You know that none of us would hurt you, right? That's not it. I find myself looking up, his paw still gently stroking my head as my blurry eyes meet his. He keeps saying that everything is going to be fine, but none of this is fine. I don't know who I am and who you are. I stretch my arms out as if trying to encompass the entire world. You say that talking wolves are normal, that there are other beast folk out there, like it's something obvious. I look down at my twitching leg. All of this is news to me, as if I was born yesterday. Reynok just sits there, petting my head and listening. That simple gesture is the most comforting thing I felt since I woke up. You simply lost your memory. With time, everything will come back to you, I'm sure of it. The wolf forces a soft smile onto his muzzle. He's trying to encourage me, but we both know that's all it is, an encouragement. How can you be so sure? Because I trust the ancestors. Our paths cross for a reason. I roll my eyes. I'm not his damn wish away. Talking wolves, ancestors and name trees. I feel like I'm dreaming. Well, even if it is a dream. He cuts off, biting his lip. I see his expression shift. He's thinking something over it, and the paw on top of my head comes to a stop. Aside from the whole memory loss, is it a bad dream to have? Or am I that much of a nightmare to be around? I look up at his teasing expression and blink. The paw starts to softly ruffle my hair again, and I can't help but chuckle, forcing my welled-up eyes to release two stray tears. It's so surreal, but I have to give Reynok credit. He's the smooth talker. No, you're not. I scoff, and this time he chuckles. I envy his lighthearted attitude. Even though he faces almost harsh consequences of his misadventures as I do, he doesn't seem to mind. If anything, he seems very set on protecting me and making me feel safe. Once he sees me smile, he withdraws his paw and we sit like that for a moment until I finally break the silence. Why did you save me? Like I said, the ancestors guided me towards my path. I shake my head. I'm not a path. First, let me walk it, and then we'll decide. He smiles slyly. You're betting quite a lot on me. If you found me next to your name tree, then why did you take me in? Vol told me that your people are willing to go to war over them. Reynok laughs. Don't call him Vol to his muzzle unless you want to be choked again. He pauses, thinking over what I said. As for the tree, you didn't harm it. But what if it was harmed? I pose a question, despite being troubled by what his answer may be. It wasn't. Hypothetically, what if whoever left me in the forest damaged it, and I was only collateral? What would you do then? I don't want to talk about it. Just answer the question. Reynok looks away, clearly disturbed by the scenario. His ears display back as he struggles to give me an answer, but the silence speaks for itself. Had someone damaged the tree, I would pay the price. Despite my worst suspicion being confirmed, I'm glad the wolf at least is being honest with me. I'm not offended, just saying that our situation is quite circumstantial. For something you believe to be fated, a lot of things could have played out differently. The wolf looks at me with an irritated expression. Why do you do this? I saved you, didn't I? He clearly doesn't enjoy this mental exercise. Because if the tree was damaged, you wouldn't have. And if that's the case, it's hard for me to see this as fate. You're reading too much into this. I'm not. Had I damaged the tree, even by accident, you would have killed me. The wolf finally speaks up, snarling at me with genuine anger, his muzzle baring his fangs like I've never seen before. Yes, I would have killed you. Is that what you want to hear? I pull away from him in fear. I can't bear him seeing him like this, like the feral beast he actually is. Noticing my reaction, the wolf's expression softens and his fangs hide behind a remorseful expression. He sighs in resignation and silence falls over us. Eventually, Renak smiles at me, giving me a patronizing look. That's what fate is, though, isn't it? A lot of things falling into place in just the right way. I roll my eyes again. I guess that's something I'm going to do a lot around this wolf. There's no point in arguing about this. He's too set in his ways. I still don't understand why you would be willing to kill someone over a tree. It's more to it than that. His expression sours. Well, then, enlighten me. Renak looks at me with concern, as if unsure if he should elaborate on the subject. Please? He nods reluctantly, sitting back on the bed, but keeping appropriate distance. You know what? I'm concluding that. I don't know how many chapters there are, or how far I am. Is this chapter 1 still? I don't know. Maybe the chapter transitioned when we fell asleep the first time. But damn, I've been recording for like 2.5 hours. Like I think I started recording at 9:30. It is literally past midnight for me now. Holy shit. But I love the writing in this. I wish there was a menu to see the CVs or the CGs, I mean. But will I read more of this? Maybe, possibly. Considering how long it took me to like find a good spot to end it. I mean, there were like multiple good spots. I could have ended it till when we first fell asleep during the day, but that didn't feel right because I thought it was gonna end, but then clearly it kept playing out longer and longer. So almost 3 hours of this. This takes, again, reading for me takes a lot of energy. And considering that I'd have to upload this, I'm not really a patient person. Anyway, if you do want to see more of this, just let me know, because I do have my eyes set on other free visual novels. This concept does intrigue me because once again, I've only read a handful of free visual novels, one of them being Ad Astra. Clearly, this premise is almost reminiscent of Ad Astra, but without the Stockholm Syndrome just yet. I don't know. Maybe there will be going into the Stockholm Syndrome territory. Who knows? I mean, the difference being that we don't have any connection to a past life, whereas in Ad Astra, we're still a human with all of our human memories and connections and shit. But either way, if you watch this somehow throughout this almost 3 hours of me talking and reading this, thank you. Again, let me know if you want to see this or if you want to see something else. And good night, because it's quite literally nighttime. It's the middle of the night for me.